Hey! Welcome everyone to what's to come and go. Welcome everybody to episode 20 of Legends of Avantris. Can you believe it's been 20 episodes? I certainly can. That is. I can. I certainly cannot. Thank you if you've been watching from the relative beginning. Thanks for sticking around with us for as long as you have. If you're new and you haven't been sticking around from the beginning, we also appreciate you very much. Welcome,
Misaki.
Misaki, welcome back, buddy. I guess we'll just go around the table. We'll start with another announcement. Sylvie's unfortunately still not feeling well, so she's out this session. We'll continue forward ahead with the five of us for this
week.
And
I'll just cast lots of Eldritch Blast and invisibility.
You play a warlock.
Yes, I do. I'm used to it.
Yeah. And with that, we can just start by going around the table, introducing the characters and the players really quick. First, we have Richie playing Rodek, a mountain dwarf fighter.
I never knew. Down for the Blam Squad.
Then we have Scoats playing Ganji Stormscale, a bronze dragonborn cleric.
Hello, everyone.
We then have Kelsey playing Annulin, the wood elf ranger. And then finally, we have Andy playing Avantris, the high elf rogue. And I guess just as a little bit of housekeeping, this is a mature audience's stream. We use some naughty language sometimes, so sorry if you're offended by that. What else we got? This is a 5th edition game. We've been playing for over 2 years now in this campaign. We are on our 19 plus 20, whatever that is. That's 39th session of the campaign, and we use mostly rules as written, but we definitely do some rules as fun, rules as intended. We also do a lot of homebrew, implement a lot of things from 4th edition and the like. And with that, I think that's all of our housekeeping business, and we can get into what happened last time. So, last session, the party had made their way with their new companion, Ratley, who was a crook, a crocodile and lizard folk pirate who had been imprisoned by King Krem for attempting to start a mutiny. He led them back deep into, well, not that deep, into the Cudgelmire Swamp. Not that far. How far is it? But to a very secluded hideout where his band of mutineers had been. Upon arriving, you realize that most of the rebel band had been captured or killed and the like, but there were 3 remaining, one of whom was Winky, which is Ratley's sister, missing an eye after King Crown slashed it out. There was what was his name? Squits, who was the old Croc Squits, they call him. Old Croc Squits, who was the oldest one of the bunch. He was seen to be more there just to yell about not eating bog possum. And then finally there was Ello, who was the largest of the group, who was had been rescued from forced labor in the mines. You met the party. There was a little bit of tension at the start, but realizing that your goals were aligned in deposing King Krem with the promise of Vic the Vicious rising up and
that guy who totally exists
and being able to overthrow King Krem. There was they eventually warmed up with a little bit of help from Ratley, and you all decided that you would basically venture forth and try to basically depose King Krem. And with that, what the fuck happened?
Some mines.
Some poison.
You learned that although the volcano is the volcano is very treacherous to scale, that there were mines that went through, and that there was a tunnel that had burst through into a subterranean layer of these huge wasp creatures that were native to the island. That they had managed to tame some of them, and that actually went up, and the hive went all the way up towards King Krem's keep, and would be the best shot to at least going in without the vultures and the aerial force seeing. And Ratley volunteered to go with you all. The rest would stay behind and take care of Cecily, whom you had left in the care of them and trusted that they wouldn't eat.
Hopefully she's not too murdered.
Hopefully she's not too murdered. And then what else?
Slightly murdered.
With the Annulin had the idea of because they had seen Zaki, the huge monstrous two-headed vulture creature, devour some of the corpses that were tied up of the traitorous children of the sea. The party decided to go and harvest as many poisonous creatures and fungi that they could and brew some potent poison, and they then snuck into Gangplank towards the grand display in the town center near Zaki's perch and pour the thick, viscous poison down the throats of all of the corpses, hoping that Zaki would eat all of them next time she arrived at Gangplank. After leaving that, parting ways with Winky, the rest of you, the five of you plus Ratley, ventured off towards the mines. He led you through the swamp. You arrived at the mines. You then encountered a strange band of crooks. You weren't really sure what they were doing. You kind of just killed all of them. Vandris squashed one with clever use of using their own trap against them. And with that clever use, they got a minecart. The minecart was functioning. They were able to get it onto the track. They chose one of the three potential tunnels to go down, and that tunnel happened to take them down a path where further down in the mines, they saw the huge cavern area where all of these crooks were mining, toiling away, mining diamonds, and then also seeking to hunt these things called flail snails, as they called them at the very least. And some of these creatures, or some of the crocodilian creatures, were mounted on huge bees or wasps, and bees. And then what else happened? And so then they rounded into a tunnel where the tracks, two tracks went side by side, and they saw a split in the road, and they heard a loud voice down the tunnel, a female crook voice, say that call out that there was a live flail snail, and then some voices responding in tandem, saying that they would come to help. And with that, I think we're ready to go.
Let's do it to it. Let's get some music going.
Some more minecart madness. Okay, so where were we again?
Are you gonna set the scene?
So, yeah, I'm just getting music ready. So, as you are slowing down the minecart, the tunnel has expanded to larger than what you had been traveling down previously. You emerge out of one of the smaller tunnels into this larger one, and you realize that there is another track alongside of you for another minecart. Straight ahead of you are two tunnels that split, going down either way. One veers off to the right, the other veers off to the left. And this left tunnel is where you heard the voice coming from. You see the motion of a few crooks with heavy mine picks running off in that direction as you hear the loud voices shouting. A few mentions of a flail snail and finally a catch. And you see in the middle that there is a lever in the center of these two tracks that seem to switch back and forth between the two tracks.
Which way is it switched to now?
So with the current track, the way that you're headed, it would veer you off to the right, away from the noise, towards all of that. But if you would guess that if you pulled the lever, it would shift you onto the track and take you in the direction where all the voices are coming from.
And the voices, do they sound like they're approaching, or
they're heading away from you guys?
Okay, so towards presumably the flail snail.
Yeah. As you are approaching, Ratley perks his head up and says, "Those snails is what Orpheus is looking for."
I start pumping the brake just so we have time to.
Okay.
Which way are we going?
These things sound dangerous. If Orpheus is interested in them, obviously we need to investigate them further. But this could be heading right into the lion's den, as they say.
I don't mind the idea of just bypassing them and going away and dealing with Orpheus more directly.
There's a chance that we don't get another opportunity to see what this flail snail really is.
Right, and then we can find out exactly what he's looking, or why he's having this Melancholia person hunting them.
So it's up to you guys as a group here, but I think that these things sound relatively rare.
Well, I guess I'm just gonna let it go, and we're gonna...
So you're passing, or you're...
The track's leading away from the noise.
It's leading away from the noise as far as... How close does the noise sound for the...
So it sounds as if it's coming down the tunnel to your left here. So actually, I have a map drawn.
We're at a fork. The sound's coming from the left, and right now we're going to the right.
So, it basically looks like this.
Let me just boink. That's not where you guys actually are, but... Left here is where all the voices are. Can you see this? Yeah. Left here, and then right is where the current track is headed.
Is there any kind of... Are we on solid ground here?
So this is all... You had gone back. You were on the track that was on those beams that had been hammered into the side of the cavern, and you had gone back into solid earth that had been... it seemed to have been picked out or blasted out. It's hard to tell.
So I pull back up on the brake. How about this? Why don't we get around the bend and we stop when we get out?
I think that's reasonable.
So I kind of slow our roll here, but then once we're right around the bend here, I want to brake.
Okay. So you're slowing your roll. The minecart starts to squeak to a halt as you make your way around through the tunnel. As it looks as if you're about to leave the sound, the minecart stops firm.
I stop. Are there any voices coming down from the other side?
Make a perception check.
I assume it's a cacophony of lizard people.
What is it, perception? 10.
You hear general clanking and chiseling, and you hear the occasional deep blast within the mountain, but nothing really particular. Sounds like what you'd expect.
Alright, should we get out?
I think we should. We should make haste regardless.
Alright, well I think that we can at least find out what Orpheus' plan is, and then maybe... We did promise Elo that we would try to kill Melancholia, and at least hopefully save some of her former friends if they're not still alive.
Then let's sneak down the tunnel, let's get as close as we can, see if we can get an eye on this thing, and do we have any way of identifying this Melancholia?
Oh, no, it's very obvious. She's got the, this brown hide. It's all covered, marked up in scars.
If you wouldn't mind pointing her out when you see her, that might be helpful.
Oh, gotcha, don't worry. You guys stand in front of me, though, when we see her, okay?
I'll lead the way. Come on.
Alright.
Okay. So you guys are making a stealth check?
We're stealing...
Stealth check.
Chicka chicka chick.
I rolled roughly 6 billion. And by that I mean...
Carry the 2,
28.
14.
18.
I'm starting it off with an old 1, so 9.
Hey!
9, okay.
Almost double digits.
Okay. So, you all steady yourselves and heave out of the cart. You make your way and you start to creep around.
The cart's here.
The cart's there. We'll put the cart there, yeah. So, I'm just going to say, you start to hear shouting.
No, you gotta be a little bit more gentle with it. No, Orpheus wants him alive. Ah!
And then you hear a loud death scream as you hear this slick, slithery sound, this loud, goopy sound, and it sounds like wriggling and writhing as you start to round the bend here. And you hear once again that female voice that you had heard, that you had guessed to be Foreman Melancholia, call out, "Are you that weak? What am I not paying you for?" And you turn the corner and you see, I didn't actually manage to print out a token for a flail snail, but you see in a corner here a huge...
So we're like up around here.
Yeah. I'm just going to... Just going to put these out here. You see 4 crooks. And then 2 here. You see 4 crooks, and yeah, there's supposed to be kobolds, but I thought they were appropriate. Technically. You see 4 crooks, relatively similar hides, kind of an orangey, beigey, and they are all around with nets and prods and blunt objects, attempting to try to capture this huge-looking snail creature. It's almost bigger than Ramby, to give you, which is Rodek's giant ram for anyone. It's a huge snail creature. Its shell is this spiraling, beautiful, massive shape that is covered in this brilliant luminescent coloring, and it seems, although this tunnel is lit only by torchlight and lantern light, the light that's catching off of it is glinting in this beautiful multicolored rainbow. And it's orangey, yellowish, a slithery skin is writhing back and forth. It's trying to get back into this tunnel that they seem to have blown open. There's rubble spewing off to the side, and they are. You see that if you have spears in its side to prevent it from getting out, there seems to be a net on top of it. It is struggling, and where you would normally see the 2 eye stalks of a snail are 4 stalks, but rather than eyes on each of them are these heavy flail-looking protrusions that seem to be organic but spiked and heavy. And you see another one of the crooks take one to the skull, and it seems to smash his skull in and knock him flying, and he clatters to the ground dead as they are desperately trying to get
Can I
this
flip
out.
over
Yeah.
any of them?
Yeah. And there's a couple. You see that 2 more have also been killed in addition.
On top of these guys. So 2 of these guys?
No. So 3 are surviving, and then the other 2 run up from Melancholia and run up to the flail snail to get it in check.
I want to turn to Annulin and ask her: Does the snail look like it's aggressive to you, or does it look like it's attempting to defend itself and escape?
What do I know about that?
Can you make a nature check for me?
Das is 20.
Ooh.
So 25 altogether.
25. So, you actually are familiar. You've heard of these creatures growing up near the mountains and near mining dwarves and other communities as well. And you know that flail snails are not aggressive. There will be people that will try to harvest its glass-like slime trail that makes a beautiful shimmering glass if you harvest it. And there are some people that are even foolish enough to try to go hunt it for its prize shell, but often it is a very dangerous occupation and then it'll die. They usually... What was that?
Gross, I can't hurt you.
One more time? What do you ask, Annulin?
I think they're having connection issues.
Oh,
Or is that us?
is that us? Hello? You guys back?
I think the stream's cutting out completely. You know.
You're not hold up.
Wait,
Hold on
what's
one
us?
sec.
Please hold. Please hold.
Give us 1 moment.
It's gotta be a broadband thing.
Yeah.
It's choking.
Let me. Okay.
Oh, we have a lot of drop frames.
Yeah, I saw that notice earlier.
Give us 1 second, guys. Sorry, having technical difficulties. How's it looking?
Yep.
What?
The warning just went away. We should be good.
You good?
I think so. Let me just drop this
A
real quick.
computer thing then?
I think we're seeing
No.
we're seeing Andy and Kelsey now.
We're not dropping any more frames so far.
How's it looking, chat? How's it looking, Twitch chat? How are we good? Oh,
Apparently it's good. It's from Derek's point of view.
oh, good.
Okay.
Great. Sorry about that, guys. We will continue. So,
Yep.
I forgot to mention, as you see these.
Well, she wanted you to repeat what you had said about
Oh.
the snails.
So, can you hear me now? We good?
Yes.
I hear
So-
now.
So I'll just repeat what I said. You think back to what you had heard about flail snails. They are creatures of elemental earth. They will oftentimes be found deep underground, burrowing in caverns, caves, and oftentimes miners may accidentally stumble into the lair of flail snails while they're burrowing. Some adventurers or poachers will attempt to kind of trail behind these flail snails as their slime turns into this thick, glossy substance that can be used to actually create large panes of beautiful multicolored glass. And their shell is very, very valuable, and many adventurers will try to go harvest their shell. Very dangerous profession, and many people will die in this pursuit. And but you know for sure that they're not aggressive, that they're unaligned to any kind of there's no alignment that they have natural evil with a lot of monstrous creatures and beings and elementals and the like. And you know that you get this, and you get the sense from what you can see from around the corner here that this creature seems to be scared and just trying to get to run away or slither away, whatever snails do.
Avantris, we gotta help the snail.
Alright, I'm down to incapacitate the poachers, but we need to make sure that we keep the foreman alive. If we fight her, nobody kills her until we have a chance to question her. Understood?
Alright.
Sure.
So, let me describe. Bradley says, "Oh, that's her! Standing in the back, standing tall but relatively slender. You see another crocodilian pirate, and this one she has a thick brown hide, completely covered in seemingly battle cause and otherwise scars and markings and nicks here and there. You see, as you kind of peer through, you see that she's actually missing a few of her fingers, and held in one of her hands firmly is a crystal, and it is very large and seems to be humming with energy. As she's watching, and she seems to be, her face is peeled back into this horrific snarl as she's screaming at these miners and beast tamers seemingly in order to get this thing under control and mocking them as they're failing to do so currently.
What's the light like?
The light would probably be very dim.
Alright, if we want, I can try to make a pass and rush her before she's aware that we're here if you want to take on the little ones.
Aye. I'll handle the small ones. So, whenever you're ready, you lead the way, I'll follow.
Alright, I'd like to use my dash urge the foreman and make an attack.
Okay, so you're going to
Oh, right.
you guys are lagging again. What the heck's going on? This has never happened.
Stream, does everything look fine? Like, are we still good? I just want to make sure that it's not our end.
You guys back? You guys are lagging really badly. This is weird. This has never happened before. I'm going to close out of this. Okay, how are we looking? How are we looking here? Andy, Kels, can you guys move your hands so I can see?
Oh, good.
Okay.
Hey, we're back.
Yeah, I mean, it goes in and out. It's just the Skype calls got really bad.
It has the bad connection. It's red or whatever.
That is so bizarre. That's never happened before down here. We will investigate that. Sorry about that. Thanks for bearing with us, guys. With that, so Vanders, what were you going to do again? You cut out a little bit.
Sticking to the shadows of the far wall.
Okay.
I'd like to use my dash action and to make an attack on her from the shadows, kind of, rushing her.
Okay.
And I want to...
As he's doing that, I would like to try to hold person her.
Okay. Yeah.
And basically, I want to just wait until as soon as he jumps from the shadows, I want to bum rush this first guy.
Yeah, just like can we coordinate this?
Yeah.
Basically?
Yeah. So then what was your stealth check again?
Mine was a 28.
28, okay. So you effortlessly sneak through the backside of this mining chamber. You see a few tunnels that go off into the different sides in this larger chamber that seem to have been bored into as if a naturally dug tunnel of this flail snail potentially. You see that Melancholia is holding her crystal very tightly, and she's screaming at them, and then you make an attack roll, please. With advantage because you're unseen.
Okay, 1 second. Alright, advantage didn't matter. It is a 25.
25, that hits. Roll damage.
$27 points of damage.
27 points of damage.
Ooh.
Okay. So, as she... Let me actually just pull up some music here real quick, because we are engaging in combat. Da-da-da-da. So, as she's shrugging, she says,
Oh, let me do it!
before she can even take a single step, you sneak up behind her, unleash Venom Spine, and stab her right in the back. She lets out and spits up blood, and as soon as that happens, Ganji is going to cast Hold Person.
Right, so she makes a whiz save.
Okay?
DC 15.
She passes.
Okay, nothing.
So when nothing happens, so Ganji, you channel the power of Bahamut in order to restrain her movement. Although she's just been stabbed in the back, you see that she seems to be a very tough hide, a very sturdy constitution, and she shrugs it off. And with that, Rodek, what are you doing?
As soon as he does that, I just want to bum rush this guy.
Okay, and they don't even really have a chance, as they're already heavily engaged with this flail snail, as your axe just swings out of nowhere at one of these tunnelers.
I'm going to make it it's advantage, right? I'm going to make it a power attack. Ooh. 8, 9, 10, 11. I'll make it a... No, that's fine. Does 11 hit?
11 does not hit.
Okay. I'll make another attack. I'll do the power attack, because I think we get luckier than that. Okay, there we go. That hits. 21.
Yep, hits.
Max damage, 12, 17, 27 damage.
27 damage to number 4. As you get closer, you realize that their clothes of these crooks are covering very thick but crude plate armor, as if they're trying to protect themselves against the flails of this creature. And despite being very heavily armored, your axe finds purchase into the torso of one of these crooks. You only get the sense that he registers you for half a second before your axe slams into him. He lets out a yelp, and he seems to be wounded, but he's still alive.
Alright, I'm done.
Okay. With that, let's get everyone roll initiative.
Cool.
Should we have Sylvie and Annulin attack too, or
That's not so bad.
or no?
Was that? I'll give Sylvie and Annulin an attack as well, and we'll just call it.
I'll have Sylvie just put Hex on 6.
Okay.
With Dex, I guess.
Yep.
And so she's gonna attack twice. That hits. That hits. 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25 damage to 6.
Okay. 25 damage to number 6. Both. Wait, what did those hit for? How much?
26 damage total.
What was the attack roll?
Eldritch Blast.
What was the attack roll?
23 and 25 or something like that.
So 26 total?
Yeah.
Okay. Both Eldritch Blasts, Lance's Eldritch Blast hit number 6, and his armor is starting to melt off, but he is also still alive. Who else we got? Annulin.
Me. I'm gonna swing. Like fires over.
You're cutting out a little bit, Kels. Can you say that one more time? Sorry.
Yeah, can you just move me a little forward?
Yep.
Oh, forward?
Yeah, basically just kind of, offset from the bad guys, but towards the center of that grouping.
So, like, here? Or, like, over here?
Also, can I say I moved up a little bit?
Yeah.
Okay. I just want to move like right there. That's all.
Put me between Rodok and Vandris.
Oh, I see.
Okay. I'm gonna cast Hunter's Mark on, I think it's number 1.
Yeah.
Okay, and I will make an attack on that.
Okay.
17 to hit.
17 to hit. That hits.
Oh, I'm sorry, 20 to hit.
That hits.
That hits even better.
Number 1.
$11 damage.
11 damage to number 1. Your first arrow flies into the back of this crook that has a spear or trident of some kind deep inside the flesh of this flail snail, trying not to let it escape, a harpoon of some kind.
And second arrow is 20.
Hits.
Number 1. That's 21 damage.
21 damage. Okay. Your second arrow hits right beside the first, and he lets out a as he's still holding on and still alive. All the 3 that you've hit are all alive, but they all seem to be weak. Despite being heavily armored, you've been able to pierce through it quite easily. And with that, now everyone's rolling for initiative. I need 20 to 25.
Shit. Rodok. That's bad. Bad news bears. Nobody.
Nobody? 15 to 20?
More drop things.
$15 to 20?
That's us.
Is it?
You guys figure it out. Sylvie is like 5 and I'm 8.
Okay.
I'm 10.
I got 22.
Okay.
19.
Annulin, Vandris,
I was 10.
Sylvie's a 6. Again, use a 10, and let me roll for Ratley. Matthias will be Ratley.
That works. Seems appropriate.
And then, I need to roll for monsters 1. Okay. Okay, with that, Annulin, it's your turn again.
Okay, I'm going to keep moving sort of towards the corner of the room, so back behind the hunter's mark and the hexed person.
Okay.
There.
Sure. And I'm going to fire an arrow at the hunter's mark. Number
Okay.
one.
Number 1.
Firing number 1.
Ooh, that is a 12.
A 12 that slams into its armor. You hear a loud clink as he's desperately trying to hold on to his spear on the flail snail.
What does she roll?
12.
Okay.
29.
29, that does hit.
It's 15 damage.
15 damage. Okay. On number 1, despite the first one getting hit by armor, the second one flies, shoots right into his neck. He lets out a gurgle as he collapses to the ground. The flail snail starting to heave its way free and start to pull in the opposite direction as the harpoon clatters to the ground and starts to be carried with this creature.
That guy died, right?
Cool.
Yep, he died.
At the end of my turn, I'm going to transfer my hunter's mark to the one that's hexed.
Okay. You channel the one that Sylvie's attacked. With that, you see Melancholia. She looks around at all of you and says,
Orpheus said you'd be coming, but not this soon.
and she channels her crystal, and you
Someone
feel
stop her.
the earth start to.
Is she not? Did Ganji fail the
I
grapple
did.
thing?
Yes, she rolled
Sadly.
13.
Right?
And
balls.
and she channels it, and I am going to need. Sorry guys. I should really know how this works, how my spells work.
Let's try that.
The entire chamber starts rumbling, as if there's an earthquake, and stalactites and stalagmites are falling from the ceiling, little bits of rubble, and all of the ground is difficult terrain, and everyone makes
Only the stalactites can fall from the ceiling.
stalactites. Yep, you're right.
Hey.
You're right. The stalagmites, or no, there aren't any stalactites because it's a tunnel. There are none. Sorry, guys. Bits of rubble are falling. Bits of rubble are falling from the ceiling, and I need everyone to make a con saving throw.
Even Rodank?
Yep.
Con saving throw?
Yep.
Ooh.
11.
I have 8.
Was that Alan?
8.
13.
11.
24.
Sylvie?
Sylvie has a 11.
I have
11?
I have an 11 as well.
With that, the ground is shaking so heavily, both Hex and Hunter's Mark burst as your concentration, you are unable to concentrate on the spells from that con save.
Womp womp.
And
That sucks.
and then with that, okay. With that, it is Vanish's turn.
How tall is she?
She's probably about like 6 feet tall.
I wanna keep fighting her, but
Okay.
I don't want to kill her.
Okay.
Is there there's an action I can take to knock her unconscious, as she gets close?
Yeah. You just be able to say that this is going to be a non-lethal strike when you attack, and
But it'll still deal
it still
full
deal the full
regular
damage. But you can say, "I want to make this non-lethal."
Okay,
And if it kills
I'm
her-
gonna keep doing that.
yeah.
I'm gonna keep fighting her and attempt to weaken her so we can subdue her.
Okay.
16.
16. That hits. Roll damage.
Hey.
Hey yo. Really?
24 points of damage.
24 points of damage.
24.
Okay. So, God, lady, guys.
That's what we do.
So, after stabbing her once in the back, she managed to pry herself free, but you pursue and get one more into her side. She turns and looks at you and holds up her crystal, shielding her eyes, and a bright light shines in your direction, and I need you to make a con saving throw.
Oh, 18.
18. You start to feel your body start to crackle a little bit and tense up, but you are able to force yourself free.
Oh boy.
And
That's no good.
with that,
I left it 5 steps back, 5 foot step backward.
okay, and you hop back a little bit with your fancy footwork. And with that, it is her turn. So.
Oh, that was like a reaction. Holy
Yeah.
So she is going to, looking at Avantris, who had just attacked her. She turns and just comes at you with one crystal in one hand. She pulls out from behind her back a huge, ornate-looking mining pick, and she swings it at you. And she's going to make 2 pick attacks. Those are both going to hit.
Mm-mm.
I'm going to uncannily dodge the first one.
Okay. Okay.
It's uncanny, my dodging movements.
Okay.
Holy crap, I don't have a lot of HP.
Did we not heal?
Nope. Ganji healed me a little bit.
The first
I'm at full health,
one.
don't worry.
The first one is 8 points of piercing damage with the pick, and 3 points of thunder damage as it hits you with force.
Question.
And then all of that will be halved. What?
Never mind. Oh wait.
And then the second one, the second swing, is going to be 9 points of piercing damage and 6 points of thunder damage.
Wow.
She's then going to
15 all day.
She's then going to lean in for a bite attack on you, Avantris, and critically fail. After hitting you twice, you feel the heavy swing, and the swing is so hard. And as soon as it hits you, you see a flash from the crystal as it almost knocks you back. As you feel a force of thunder, like a loud crackle of thunder that echoes through the chamber with each of the hits. As this heavy war pick smashes into you twice. But she does stumble and fail her bite. And with that, it is Monsters 1's turn. And so I'm going to make a quick saving throw on the one more that is holding a spear. And it is going to horribly fail trying to dodge one of the one that Rodek had hit. 4 of the flail snail tendrils come down, smash its head, its helmet flies off, it collapses to the ground dead, and the flail snail uses its reaction to just start slithering in the other direction. Can you please move it 30 feet this way?
Go, snail, go! Go to freedom!
1,
Yeah.
2, 5, 6.
And then as that happens, they say, "No, don't let it get away! Don't let it get away!" And but they turn and then they turn to Melancholia for a second, and then just kill the antelope first. We can catch up to it. And then they are turning to you. 1 is going to go towards Annulin, and 2 are going to go towards Rodek.
Right.
1.
Right.
Okay.
Does that work? The place
Yeah. And so 2 pick attacks against Annulin. 1 is going to miss Annulin, the other one is going to hit. And that's going to be 6 points of bludgeoning damage.
Ooh, that's 4 attacks on me.
And then 4 attacks on Rodek. That's why I have 4 d20s. Fail. 1 hits. God damn it. That is going to be 7 points of bludgeoning damage as the pick smashes into you, but they seem to be a little bit weak. The rest of them have picks. The net is tattered to the ground after the spears or the harpoons had been dislodged, and the flail snail.
So the snail has like no more harpoons or net or anything.
Both the harpoons are still in it, but the creature, the crooks are no longer holding on to it, and it's slithering away. And
what number hit me?
Number 6 hit you. With that, it's Andy's turn.
So my question was going to be, when she does the crystal thing,
Yeah.
Does she have to say any command words to make it happen?
No.
Okay.
It's just she is just channeling there's something that's happening with the crystal.
Okay, gotcha. So what I'm gonna do, I might actually do that anyway. I am going to run over to her.
Okay.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
Okay.
And I am going to cast silence on her.
Okay.
Because it makes everyone within a 20-foot radius to her immune to thunder damage.
Oh, okay.
Oh shit.
Okay, and so there's no save or anything like that.
No
right?
save.
So Ganji
God
walks.
damn.
Ganji walks up, says a small prayer to Bahamut as a, and then nothingness as silence falls over whatever radius it is, and she looks around confused but very angry.
I don't think I can do anything interesting with my bonus action. I'm good.
Okay. With that, it's Rodik's turn.
All right. I would like to spit at one of the guys and attack him twice.
You hawk a lead.
Okay. 16 and 21.
16 and 21. 16 misses. 21 hits.
Okay. I will. Let's see here. I'll make it a. Nah.
On which number is this?
This is number 3.
Both
4,
are on
5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I'll make it a menacing attack. Why not? Or no, actually, I'll make it a menacing attack.
Okay.
Instead of whiz save.
So 9 points of damage.
16.
Your axe slams
Hold on,
into.
no more than that. Sorry, 9, 15 damage.
15. Your axe slammed into it, and with such force, he may be scared. Let's see. And he's very scared of you. He
Okay,
looks, his
good.
eyes fill with fear as you chop off one of his sides of armor and just clatters to the ground. You see that it's really sloppily put together, and he's very afraid of you. With that, Ratley goes up and says, "Oh, this one's for hello!" And then he's going to shoot once. Could you move him up a little bit towards the left there?
Oh, like this
Yeah,
way?
and he's going to just shoot at Melancholia. And he is going to hit. Okay. And his crossbow bolt thunks and flies out, hits her in the side. She's looking upset, but not as wounded as not that wounded. Sylvie.
Sylvie is going to attack. She would probably attack the one on Annulin, let's be serious. So I am going to attack that one twice. A 19 and a 20.
Wow.
So those both hit. So D10. So I'll do the crit first.
Yep.
Oh, there's no hex though. Ugh, that sucks. 2, 7, 11 for the first one. That's a really shitty crit. And then 5 for the next one.
How much damage total?
16.
To number what?
To number 6.
16. Both arcs of the Glitterlance Eldritch Blast smash into the head, knocking the helmet off. Its eyes roll back and it collapses to the ground dead. Number 6 is dead.
Hey.
The one that was on Annulin. There you go. Annulin, you're up.
Alright, I am going to make, I'm going to fire 2 arrows simultaneously, one at each of the guys by Rodak.
Yeah, this guy I believe is wounded.
Okay.
That is a 28 and an 18 to hit.
28 and 18 both hit.
Okay, I will do damage on, I think it's number 3, the wounded one first.
Yep.
That's 17 damage.
17 damage. Okay. On number what again? Sorry.
Number 3.
Your arrow finds this mark, and he's looking wounded.
And 9 damage to the number 5.
9 damage to the number 5. Okay. This is on the different target, number 9. So he had not been wounded yet.
Yes.
The arrow, he had not been wounded. This is the first time he finds its mark, pierces through the sloppily pieced together armor, and with that, it is. Wait a minute. If she's concentrating on the earthquake thing, would the silence cancel that?
No.
I don't think so, no.
Okay. So the earth is still rumbling, and
Oh, so it's still rumbling. It's an ongoing.
it's still rumbling. So it's all difficult terrain, and so you drop your concentration with that. And then with that,
shit.
2 fissures are going to open up, and there are 6 of you. So I'm just going to roll a d6. 1 underneath Rodek, and Rodek, you really want to die here. And then 1 underneath Avantris. I need both of you. I need both of you to make dex saving
Con
throws.
saving throw?
Dex.
Yes! No!
21.
11.
So fissures open up. Avantris, you manage to dodge out of the way as the earth opens up. But Rodek, you are not so lucky. You fall in hard,
And die.
taking 11 points of bludgeoning damage.
Oh. Alright. Would my armor protect me against any of that? Probably not.
Probably not. No. So 11 points of bludgeoning damage.
Probably not.
And
Probs now.
and she's concentrating in, and then she then is going to channel her crystal again. It flashes with a white light, or this bright, like glowing yellow light, as you see some of her wounds start to heal up.
Oh. Poop.
Wait,
Well, that's baloney.
okay. Vandus, your turn.
Ha-ha! I'd like to use my reaction to take a greater healing potion.
Okay.
I will check that off my list. I have 1 left.
You uncork a greater healing potion, chug it.
It's 4d4 plus 4.
Yep.
It's a lot of d4s.
Wait, is it 4 or more?
It's 44.
44.
Okay.
I heal for 14 points. Thank
Okay.
the Lord.
Nice.
Okay. You chug the potion, you feel a little bit stronger.
Then I'm going to stab her in the face, non-lethally.
Okay.
That's a non-lethal
The old
stab.
non-lethal stabbing.
Gently stab her.
I rolled 13.
13? Okay.
Yeah.
44.
That
yeah.
misses.
So the question is, do I dare channel this dark energy and use the loophole of Dis?
Ooh, well, we
Good.
wouldn't know, but what is Vandus?
Yeah, that's a question for Vandris.
Vandris is tempted by the dark side and wants to channel the exploited loophole of Dis.
So, as you feel yourself miss, you remember that dark power. All of a sudden, a sickening pit of you almost feel like you're going to be sick. Churns in your stomach, and you hear a slight voice in your mind. Dis grants you its boon. And you feel as if you're able to almost undo the attack you had and make another attack very quickly. And add your charisma modifier to it.
Okay, it was a lot. I think I got a 20. Let me check my charisma. 23.
23. You hit. Roll damage.
That's a daily.
Yeah.
29 points of damage.
Holy shit.
Hey. Non-lethal evil demon devil.
As soon as it hits, you hear the voice say, "You're welcome." As blood splurts out all over you, as she hurks forward, and your rapier finds slashes one of her vital organs, and she's looking fairly wounded.
Then I'd like to disengage using my fleet footwork and back up 5 feet.
Okay.
Well, you
use a bonus action.
The potion, right? With the bonus action.
What it is anytime I make a melee attack against somebody,
You're right.
they
you're right.
take attacks of opportunity.
It's your
against me.
movement.
So it's not actually a bonus action.
So you're not
it's
disengaging, you're just walking away.
No, I'm just fleet footworking.
Is that fine?
Oh, I need to roll
Yeah.
concentration.
Go this way.
Either way,
Okay.
doesn't matter.
Okay. And with that, as she stumbles forward, the rumbling of the earth subsides as her concentration is broken.
Ooh.
And
big hit.
and with that, it is her turn. She is going to step in between Ganji and Vandris. And is going to swing her pick once against Ganji, once against Vandris. And let's see. Natural 20 on Ganji.
There's a fucking surprise.
Hey, every time.
Hey, every time. But you are immune to thunder damage, so
I am
that's
immune to
2d8
thunder
that
damage.
you're not going to take. There you go.
That's
Oh,
nice. What's that?
that's it's going to be 5 points. Of
Oh no! What a horrible crit!
I rolled the lowest. 2 1s. Okay. Yeah, no, 2 1s. That's all. Yeah,
So
five
it's 6
points. Okay. And with that, she's going to then make a bite attack against Vandris, and she's going to horribly miss as losing her concentration seems to have got her off her game. Monsters 1 are going to go. That's just going to be 4 quick attacks against Rodek because they have no idea what they're going to do.
You can't give them orders.
BRB, burb.
3 miss, but 1 is a natural 20.
Okay.
And that will deal
Maybe that's what's going
11
Yeah,
points.
that's what I-
11 points of bludgeoning damage.
Ouch.
We're offline.
From 1 hit?
1 hit.
And we're back.
You guys good?
I mean, it temporarily just said we were offline, so I think it's like it's just a.
That was a firewall thing.
Yeah, I think it's
Oh,
the
firewall.
I think it's the firewall thing.
So you said 11
It's always
minus
firewall.
3 is...
Yeah.
Okay.
I was gonna say it's weird. We never had bandwidth issues at all. Like we've
Yeah.
never had that, so it's got to be bullshit firewall. Okay, 11 points of bludgeoning damage. And with that, the flail snail, you hear the as it slithers or whatever you call the snail movement, slimes its way down the tunnel, pretty much out of sight at this point. Ganji, you're up.
I'm going to melee her non-lethally.
Okay.
But
We're good, we're good.
let me see. First, I'm gonna move here.
Yep.
So that if, just to make sure of the terrain, Vanders can keep hopping back 5 feet in this direction.
Yeah, there's a tunnel. There's a little tunnel bed down that way, similar to the other little
Okay.
snail tunnel that you
Oh.
guys that he crawled down.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
So I'm just gonna move there so that if he hops back 5 feet and she follows him, she provokes
Got it.
opportunity attack. Okay, so then attack. 11 plus 6, 17 to hit.
17 hits. Yep.
Okay. And this is not.
Yeah.
So that's gonna be 11 damage.
11 damage. Okay. Soon as you grab your warhammer, Malay Smell of Fakarim, it fills the chamber with glowing light. As you swing it around, it hits her in the abdomen, and she stumbles forward a little bit. She seems to be doing a little rough, not quite bloody, you'd say. And with that, anything else?
Yeah, I'm gonna use a bonus action to attack her again.
Okay. You channel the war-like powers of Bahamut.
Same
To
attack
swing
roll.
again. Okay.
10 damage.
10 damage.
Still not
Okay.
lethal.
And now she looks injured enough. She is bleeding pretty heavily. She's looking bloodied, you might say. And with that, it is Rodek's turn.
3 is the most damaged, right?
Yes.
He's
He's very wounded.
We'll do one attack. That's an 18.
18 hits.
8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 damage.
Your axe cleaves into his chest and splits his armor, and he collapses to the ground.
Beautiful. I will attack number 5.
Okay. He's the least wounded. Well, he's the only one that's alive, I guess.
Cocked. 6 plus 8 is
He
14.
misses.
Okay.
Manages to
I
use his
will.
armored arm and deflect your attack.
I'll use a bonus action to attack since and it
misses. Okay. He deflects it again.
it's worth a shot.
Definitely.
With that, Ratley is just desperately trying to kill Melancholia here,
I tell him not to kill her, but I
and he
can't.
is going to miss. So you don't have to do that. He'd reload it. Oh shit! and it flies off to the side. You can tell he's a little rusty. Sylvie.
Ooh. Sylvie will probably. So she's not looking like really wounded at all.
No.
Okay. So Sylvie, seeing this, would cast double Elder's Blast at. What's your name? So 20 whatever.
Both of those hit.
And, okay. Where's my D10? 16 plus 8 is 24.
24. Okay. Both, seeing that all of the crooks that had been trying to get this flail snail under control have died, Sylvie turns her attention, and once again, both arcs find their mark, hitting on either side of her, going around Ganji. She tries to get out of the way. They hit her in her side. She's looking pretty darn injured. And Annulin, you're up.
Good timing.
Did
Okay,
you get
catch me up
pizza?
here. Number 5 is still the one that was there before, right?
He's on the left.
What? Yeah, 5 is the only one left. This guy.
Oh yeah, they're not all dead. Whoops.
Okay. I'm going to make an arrow attack at him.
Okay.
It's 15 to hit.
15 to hit, misses. Just sticks out of his armor.
Boo! I'm making nothing.
Poop.
25 to hit.
That hits.
16 damage.
He's gonna wing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
16 damage. The first one sticks out of his arm. He's like, oh god! And then the other one, he is not able to deflect. It goes into his abdomen a little bit. He's looking pretty darn wounded. With that, any bonus action? Hang on.
Nah.
Yeah. Okay. P-I-Z-Z-A. How did that happen? And
Anyone's scheming for pizza over there.
with that, actually, after Annulin attacks once again, she's actually going to turn to Ganji, and the shining light of petrification shines, and Ganji, you need to make, what was that again? A con saving throw?
Yes. Sir.
Yes.
That's gonna be a 16.
16, you feel once again your scales kind of starting to turn to stone, and you manage to force it out of your system. And and with that, and after that happens, the crystal channels again, and you start to see her wounds close up a little bit more.
Ugh.
Oh, no. Okay. And then Vanish's turn.
Ha! Stab her in the face.
Okay.
Non-lethally.
Of course.
Of course.
Avoid the arteries.
Son of a gun. 17. I forgot my hits actually.
17, that hits.
Okay, my rolling was absolutely ridiculous. 18 plus 8 is
26.
26 plus 6 is 32.
32 points of damage?
I almost rolled max.
Oh my god. Okay. As she has failed in trying to petrify Ganji, she is not focused on you at all, and you manage to find a weak spot and get your rapier deep in. You definitely feel like you got some organs there, as this gross bile and mixed with blood spills out of her as you pull your rapier out. Non-lethally, of course. With that, but you can't hear anything. It's just like... and then she is going to, after being so devastated, she's going to turn to, she's going to do one bite attack against Ganji. And fail, and she's going to do one pick attack again, or 2 pick attacks against Avantris, and she's going to turn to him after and she's going to miss both of those terribly. Yeah. Both of, okay. And so she swings. You can tell that being beset upon so unexpectedly has kind of set her off. So with that, she's like, but it's silent, so you can't hear. And the monsters one are all dead. So
No, one guy.
One guy. Oh, great! He's going to make 2 attacks against Rhoda.
Did assign homework?
You forgot to
You
assign
should attack me
homework.
twice.
And both of those are going to hit.
No, they're all dead. They're all dead, right?
And these are 2. I'm just going to roll the damage for both, please. So
Hello, please.
16 points of bludgeoning damage. So minus 6, I guess, for you. As they smash into you. Whose turn is this? Ganji.
Another melee. Non-lethal.
Okay.
Ooh, that's probably not going to do it. I'm going to add 10 to that to make it 23 instead of 13.
23. You just keep cheating with Bahamut. as it cries to just keep like, oh, help me, Bahamut. And
I mouthed to Rodak, what? I can't hear you.
how much damage?
No, Bahamut's on. He helps me out all the time.
Yeah, I was going to say.
No.
That's going to be 10 damage.
10 damage?
What am I doing now?
You swing Malleus Maleficarum, still radiating that light. It hits her again. You're trying to be a little bit non-lethal, but you still kind of are praying to Bahamut to make sure you actually hit her to weaken her a little bit. And Rodak, you're up.
I would like to swing in and attack him once.
And also rage.
And I would like to rage. No, an 18.
18 hits.
Please kill him. Come on. Ooh, almost max. 11 plus 5 is 14, 16, 20, or 16 damage, sorry.
With that, he's raising his pickaxe to hit you. You come up from underneath and get him in the gut. His guts spill out and he collapses down dead.
Well, that's pretty gross.
Rodak is a brutal fighter, guys. He's a shitty dwarf.
I am just a shitty dumb old dwarf. 1.5. 3, 4, 5, barely. And I would like to attack. What's her name? And I'm going to make it a power attack. Ooh, that's not good. I'm going to make it a precision attack.
Are you able to combine that shit?
What?
I don't know.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Fucking battle master, man.
6, 7, 8, 9, 17.
Hits.
To hit. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Just. Well, I don't know.
4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 19 damage for the first one.
Okay.
And
hold on. Okay, your axe cleaves in, slashes down the side of her abdomen. She's
Not
looking
lethal,
very weak.
so I use my bonus, since I killed that guy, I'm going to use my bonus action for one more melee attack. I get a 23.
Okay, roll damage.
Max damage.
17.
How would you like to non-lethally knock her out?
Just pick
I
up
just-
a rock and throw it at her head.
I just want to I just kill the guy and I kind of dust myself off and like pull off a few intestines and stuff. And then I just walk over and I want to just flip my axe around and go boop, and she falls over.
Okay, so you nonchalantly walk up, you slash her to make sure that she's pretty weak, and once she's kind of stumbling, you flip the axe around and ding, and she goes, oh, no. Well, I guess, and falls down, making no sound in the zone of silence.
Okay, I want to look for the glass ball she dropped, or whatever.
Let's
The
restrain her.
Okay. So as she falls to the ground, you notice that the crystal that she had has clattered to the ground a few feet from her. You go and you pick it up. It is a jagged, non-cut gem. It seems to be as if it was just yanked out of. It looks like it was just yanked out of. Go ahead. Hello. Oh shoot!
Still dropping again.
You're dropping out here. One more time, Kels. Try it again.
I was just saying that we can't hear you. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Oh, you're back. You're back.
You're back. Yes,
Yeah, it's something with our internet. This has not happened before.
Yeah. So
I swear.
We'll fix this, guys. So with that, so basically, Ganji, she has gone to pick up and investigate the crystal.
Yep.
It looks rough, hewn, as if pulled from out of the mine itself.
Does it still seem to be magical at all, as far as I can tell?
Make an Arcana check.
While he's doing that, can I look down the tunnel and just see if the snail got away?
21.
21. You make a perception check while we do this. So for this, you get the sense that there is some magic to it, but how it works is not
Obvious.
It's not obvious to you at all.
Okay.
I would like to help Avantris tie up the crocodile
Okay.
person.
I got a 15.
15.
I dropped the silence, by the way.
Okay, the silence drops, so you're able to talk. Annulin, you kind of go down a little bit as you hear the slick slithering as it goes down deep into the earth. It seems the franticness with which you had heard it moving seems to have subsided a little bit, and it's calmly retreating back into the earth.
I'm gonna shout down the tunnel, "Be free, gentle one!"
It echoes through the chamber. You probably
goes, aww.
Yeah. You feel like it definitely heard you, and you would hope it understand at least the tonality of what you were trying to convey.
Alright, well, we're tying her up. I'll let Van just tie the knots, because he's probably a knot guy.
Okay, just make a dex check with advantage and add
That's
proficiency,
not guy.
just to see how well you're tying this.
27.
Hey!
Okay, you tie her up real tight.
All right. Now, I don't know what she's going to be like when she wakes up. If our past interrogations are any clue, this won't go well.
That is how it usually seems to happen. If only we had someone. If only we had someone who could make her our friend.
I'm not feeling particularly well at the moment.
It's a fair point.
I'm unhappy. I can't really explain
Oh,
what's
wait.
going on.
Hang on. How do I look down so that I'm looking at Sylvie's little placard there? Is that it? I can't tell.
What? Oh, her
little name tag.
Advantage, what were you saying?
This one. There.
That's that one, yeah.
I was saying I'm not feeling well. I'm willing to interrogate her, but if we think that Ratley can make some progress first, I'm willing to allow that to happen. I just need to take a moment and sit down.
I agree, let's rest.
As soon as that happens, Ratley walked up and said, "Why haven't you killed her yet?"
We need to find out what she and Orpheus want with these snails.
Does that really matter? I hate this one. She's killed so many friends.
It does matter.
I don't mind. Honestly, I don't care what we do with her after we get information.
We will deliver justice.
Just
But the information first.
hold on to it for a second, and then we'll see.
Vanders make a persuasion check with advantage. I guess whoever's the highest charisma can make
That's
it.
definitely not me.
Vanders can make the persuasion check with advantage because he's being assisted by King
15.
15. You see that he's like upset. He's looking down with this furious rage and hatred and melancholia, and he has his crossbow as if he's like just gonna try to end it. And he puts it down, and he says,
Okay, well, we better kill her, is all I can say.
She'll get her due, don't you worry.
Okay.
We just need some information first.
and so he goes off to the corner and sits down.
And I also sit down against
And
the
rest.
wall of the cave.
Okay.
So, do we get a short rest?
Yes.
Is that what we're doing?
If you guys want to take an hour.
Yeah, so let's just. I want to like be super mindful, but like sitting down with my axe at the ready, just kind of listening for any kind of.
We gotta
echo
wait till she
coming
wakes
through
up anyway.
Right.
We
I don't know how
we
long
can
that
kind
takes.
of raise her from consciousness.
Yeah,
right?
you can smack her awake, basically.
Oh, okay.
I gotta rest.
Okay.
Yeah. So
Okay.
yeah, we will take an hour.
Okay.
We will rest.
Why don't we just make a group perception check just to?
Ooh.
Oh, that was nice. That's gonna be 23.
Okay. Right.
I think Sylvie and I both got 13.
13. Aelin Van.
13 as well.
Okay.
I got an 8.
Oh,
Oh.
jeez.
Okay.
I rolled so many ones tonight. It's like.
I was gonna say that had to have been a 1.
Yeah, that's
You
unbelievable.
got the highest perception.
So you all take a moment to rest. You listen. You hear the occasional shouts, the constant clanging of a pickaxe onto stone, and the rattling, the occasional rattling of a minecart going down alongside the wall of the cavern, and otherwise in the very distant buzzing of bees and wasps. But there's beyond that, nothing really immediate seems to be heading in your direction. It seems like this was kind of a contained area where the foreman was.
So do we get a?
And you get a short rest.
Okay, yeah.
You get it.
So why don't we roll? We need at least 2.
Not even gonna bother roll because even minimum roll would get me back to full.
9. 14. 8.
I used some of my hit dice. I can do that, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
No limit to how many you can use out of your total.
As long as you have enough.
Yeah.
And do I get anything from the crystal in the short rest?
You do not.
Okay.
You understand that it's magical, but the nature of the magic seems to be as if. With that, we'll just keep that Arcana check. Actually, why don't you make another Arcana check for me? And with advantage because you're taking your time.
Okay.
Would I know anything, since you said I'd seen these snails before, would I know anything about them that I would link to a reason they would be trying to like capture them but keep them alive and possibly use them?
I'll say we'll keep that nature check. First of all, what did you get real quick?
21.
21. Okay, so you take your time while you're resting up. The others are kind of more tending to the wounds. You're examining this crystal. You get the sense that whatever power was from this crystal wasn't even really Melancholia using it. You get the sense that it was basically the source was more or less just being bestowed through her. You may be able to guess that it was just basically granted to her by Orpheus or another powerful magical person in her company. So you don't get the sense that you would necessarily, at least at the present, be able to use it the same way that she did. But that's your initial guess as far as how that works.
Would it be reasonable for me to guess whether it's still connected to whoever?
Given the magic that's kind of like radiating from it, you'd probably say yeah.
Okay. I am going to put it in a cloth bag and tie it up so that it's completely covered by
Okay.
cloth and can't see.
Okay. You drop it into a cloth.
Yes.
You pull out some cloth. You wrap it quickly. Stuff it into your pack, and keep it nice and safe.
All right.
Anulin, you putting together some pieces. Can you just make a general, actually, just one quick intelligence check for me, just to... Add Arcana, actually, too, if you're proficient in that.
I am not proficient in Arcana, and I got an 11.
11, okay. So there is a point of reference that you know about these snails, is that they are beings of the elemental plane of Earth. And you remember that Orpheus had mentioned in notes in the journal that he was looking for some kind, at the beginning of the elemental plane of Earth chapter, that he, at least when he was writing these notes, he had just mentioned deep gnomes of where to find something relating to Earth. And he was looking for something of some kind, of some variety. You do remember that he was also, the elemental planes were very much of his interest. And the connection there would be that these snails have a very strong connection. They are elemental creatures that are native inhabitants of the elemental plane of Earth, that eventually will come in and out from the plane deep beneath volcanoes, mountains, that sort of thing.
So all he said about the plane of Earth is the City of Jewels? Or no, his note was just deep gnomes, question mark, probably.
Yeah.
That's it.
Okay.
Alright.
Okay, so Vandus, you've healed up. The party's together. Ratley's looking a little anxious, but you guys have sated him. He seems to be trusting in you more and more.
All right, Rouster, if you want.
I'll go keep a lookout.
Am I leading this, or is there any value in letting Ratley take a first crack?
I have a feeling that letting Ratley take the first crack might sabotage us a wee bit.
Fine.
What's that? Hey, Sylvie, what's that spell you have? Was it Charm Monster?
Charm Monster and Charm Person are two different spells, right? But Charm Monster can be anything, right?
Yeah, it includes person.
It includes person, yeah. She tells you that she can charm. I'm not going to attempt to roleplay Sylvie, but...
Let me look it up. Okay.
She tells you that she can charm.
Fourth level, attempt to charm a creature, must make a whiz saving throw. Does so with advantage if we're fighting it. If it fails, it's charmed and friendly to you. So.
Alright, so the second we wake her up, Sylvia will use the spell. And then Vandris, you take it away. And I'll step in if I have to, and I kind of heave my axe a little bit.
Alright, I suppose.
And I'll give her a swift kick.
Okay. She sputters and looks at you with the glare. As soon as she glares at you, Sylvie says a little incantation and moves her arm and with saving throw. And her glare drops as she looks at Sylvie with a friendly expression and looks up and says, "Hey, what's going on then?"
What a useful interrogation.
Okay, listen up, you ugly bastard. I know you're working with Orpheus.
That's right, yes.
We've been tracking him for quite a long time now, and
I've heard of you.
We know that he's here.
Yeah, he's here.
What do you want with this snail? What's the deal, huh? Why are you hunting these things?
Can you give me the rules on those, by the way, just so we're like 100% sure?
It's friendly to us, or friendly, specifically friendly to Sylvie. I don't know. It doesn't specify whether it extends to the rest of us.
It's friendly to the caster.
Yeah.
Why don't you make are you trying to intimidate or persuade? Make an intimidation check with advantage because she's charmed.
Yeah, I'm definitely not trying to persuade her.
Yeah.
I would say right now Avantris is feeling very ill and not in the mood to interrogate anyone.
Okay.
I rolled really poor. Hold on. I got an 8.
An 8. She looks at you and says,
Well, he wants it for his plan B.
Do you know?
Okay.
Do you know what
Listen,
that is?
No, I'm not messing around here. We know what we know of a plan B. We understand that. I want to know exactly why he wants these snails.
She looks at you with kind of a dumb expression, and why don't you make another intimidation check? 19. She kind of looks a little dumbly and thinks, but you can see that the charm is very strong, as her eyes are kind of glowing with this glossy pink shimmer from Sylvie's Fey magic. And she says,
Well, he needs something from the other 3 elements. He's gonna brute force it, he says. That's why he needs the diamonds. I sound like Ratley, not anymore. I'm up here now.
Alright. Rodek, I can't do this right now. Take over. And I go and I sit down with my back up against the wall and put my head in my hands and let him take over.
I'm going, before Rodek gets started, I'm just gonna go over to Avantris and, man, you really look like shit. Like, let me help you out and cure wounds.
You do look like shit. I'd have to agree with Annulin on this one.
You guys are bastards.
Alright, so, I'll like heave my axe up on my shoulder and I'll say, so, you say he has a plan B, and you say he's gonna brute force something with his plan B. What exactly is Orpheus's plan B?
Well, that's the part he doesn't tell anybody. He tells he's got Zaki's egg. He's got a helmet.
and make a persuasion check.
Oh god. Bad. 13.
He's got Zaki's egg. And he's got the helmet. And with his guest he keeps talking about, he says he has all he needs. But we just had to get a few more flail snails for it to be as ready as he was happy with. And some more diamonds.
A guest, you say?
That's what he says.
Who might this guest be?
He doesn't tell us that, but I don't know what you knows about the elemental planes, but that's green out, and there's one. There's got to be fire, but I don't ask questions. That's why Orpheus liked me. Also, I'm very cruel.
Is it safe to assume that? So he has. So this would be like what they're collecting now. The diamonds would all be part of like the earth bit. This whole mine thing.
The diamonds, he says.
I'll just. Did you ask that?
Fine, yeah.
The diamonds are you do you have any spellcasters? It's the components for to channel the sheer power of it. It's not got nothing to do with Earth. That's the snails.
All right. Sorry. Hold on. Snails. So egg, helmet, snails, guest. Whisper to Gagey. Is there anything else we need to know? Spell related that you might.
I mean, I was going to ask you to ask her what's the best way to get to Orpheus. In through the mines. We're kind of wandering in the dark here, but she's the foreman. I figure if there's one thing she knows, it's that.
Fair point, fair point. So, do you happen to know where Orpheus is?
Oh, yeah, I know where Orpheus is.
Wait, is he up in the keep with King Krem?
Well, he told me not to tell anyone where he is.
How, real quick, how long do they stay charmed?
An hour.
An hour.
Do you guys want to see if she'll take us there?
Hell no.
Why? She's charmed.
If she can just tell us what tunnel to take, that's all I really care about. Just if Or we know we're trying to get through the what was it called? The B tunnel or whatever?
Yeah.
If she can just tell us which tunnel is the B tunnel, then that's all we need to know, right?
I have to agree with Ganji on this one. We're not babysitting some overgrown lizard.
Especially when, not all of us are agreed on wanting to take her with us.
Well, I think we should at least try to ask her where Orpheus might be. Try to get that information out somehow.
Sure.
Agreed.
Why don't you take Sylvie to go? I think she likes Sylvie a lot.
I'm not even gonna attempt to roleplay Sylvie.
Passive roleplay.
Well, anyway, so he says that he. Why is he so concerned about other people knowing where he is?
Well, he doesn't want to cause trouble with the crooks. Everybody's already afraid of him, and I don't necessarily trust him.
But you trust him.
He gives me power, and I like that.
He gave you the powers you used just now.
Oh, he did. That's how I rose through the ranks with King Krem. That's how Orpheus took a liking to me. I'll do what needs to be done.
Well, I don't fault you for that, and it was very impressive.
I do. That's an aside. I don't say that out loud to her.
Well, I think at this point, it would be very beneficial to us, and I think you honestly have two options right now. You're obviously very weak, and you're in a rough spot. We don't mean you any harm right now. So you could tell us where Orpheus is, or we could end your life.
Make a persuasion check with advantage. 13. She thinks for a moment, and she looks at your axe and nods.
Well, he's in the volcano. He's deep in his volcano lair. I haven't even been there, but
Aren't we currently in the volcano?
oh, we've dug into the volcano. He's in the magma chamber beneath King Krem's keep. The only entrance is from King Krem's personal quarters. His throne room.
Well, that's fair enough. I appreciate that.
Do you know what the best tunnel to get to King Krem's keep is from here?
Which way are you trying to go?
How many ways are there?
Well, you could just scale the mountain, I guess.
What's the easiest way to get there?
Well, if you're trying to get to King Krem's keep, you're wanting to take the hive of Queen Zingara, I suppose.
And which way is that?
Make a persuasion check with advantage.
Queen what?
Queen Zingara. Zingara.
Zingara.
That's an 18.
18. She, just for the sake of brevity, she gives you a series of lefts and rights, which way to go from.
I'll write all that down.
So basically, she tells you to go from this tunnel out, and which tunnel that they had accidentally bored into the mountainous hive of this Queen Zingara.
Okay. And what was the term we heard from Elo that was called?
What was that?
What did Elo call the bee cave? Didn't she have a name for it or something?
I don't think so.
Oh,
Yeah.
Never mind then. That's fine. I'm just gonna assume that they're the same, that they're one and the same. That sounds good to me.
Alright,
Well, you said
let Bradley put a bolt between her eyes.
Oh. Shh, not right in front of her. Come on now.
He says, "Oh, should I do it?"
We don't have time for this. Let him go.
Is there anything else that we need to know before this happens?
Right. I gather everybody away from her while she's like tied up on the ground.
Oh,
Okay.
one more question. your crystal. I know you got power from it, but do you know if... Did Orpheus ever mention keeping tabs on you through it? Does he ever try to talk to you through it or anything like that?
He doesn't talk through, but he usually keeps tabs on most people.
Mm-hmm.
Shade.
I mean, we can't really be surprised. This is Orpheus we're talking about.
So Rodek's going to attempt to try to pull everyone away.
Yes.
Does everyone
Before
go?
we do anything rash,
Yeah, I'm
let's think through this. I think Angelin has a great point. Is everybody stepping away for a second?
Yeah.
You're managed to get Rattly back, sure.
I drag in. Is there anything else we need to know?
I don't think she's going to know a lot about exactly what Orpheus is trying to do. She sounds like the head of the mine crew, not the high spell wizard person.
That's fair. Do we think that there may be other groups hunting these snails?
Well, she's head of it. I mean, probably, but...
If they are, it sounds like it would be independent of Orpheus' operation. I feel like everyone here hunting these snails is doing so at Orpheus' command.
I doubt that the head of the mines is heading only one of several crews, you know?
Right.
I feel like if there were several crews, she would be organizing them or something. But either way, I don't think it's worth it to try to comb through the mines and stop them if that's what you're thinking. The more direct option is probably to just go straight for King Krem and Orpheus.
I also agree.
Right.
So she said that she hadn't been to his lair. Do you think she knows someone who he does allow to go there?
I would assume only King Krem.
If even him.
Why don't you go ask her?
That's a good idea. So I'll go over and I'll just repeat my question to her. I know you haven't been to the lair, but do you know who Orpheus does allow to go there?
Well, yes, I do. King Krem says he's been there, but word on the street is that it's only the assistance that Orpheus asked for, and ain't never come back from his lair.
Who gets to be his assistants? Who gets chosen to be his assistants?
Whoever King Krem feels like.
So these are crooks.
Oh yeah, there's usually the weaker ones they send out there. Sometimes he asks for some stronger ones.
Well, that doesn't sound good.
No wonder people aren't a fan of Orpheus in the crew. Well, that sounds really ominous, but I'm not sure there's a whole lot we can do about it now other than continuing on.
I take Ratley aside and I say, do what you have to do. She belongs to you now.
They're losing us, I think.
Oh, guys?
Yeah, you're back now. We missed like a week. His stream says it's offline.
Is it?
It's back. Yeah, it keeps cutting out.
Oh shit.
It's back on now.
Check. 1, 2, 1, 2. You're good? You can ask? So Rodeka basically just pulled aside Ratley and said, you can do what you want with her. And Ratley says, well, okay, can I kill her now?
Go for it.
Can you just briefly recap what was the answer to that question, because I didn't hear any of it?
Oh, the question that you asked?
Yeah, nobody heard it. Yeah,
just a brief
were,
recap. We didn't hear any of it.
Oh, okay. Okay, the question was,
Only the,
I'll just do a quick recap. Basically, the only people that are allowed in Orpheus' lair is King Krem says that he has been there, but really the word on the street is among the rest of the crooks is that it's only the assistants that Orpheus asked for, and Orpheus asks for assistance, and then whoever goes never comes back, and it's King Krem that chooses them, and. They're usually the weaker ones. It's kind of up to him. Sometimes Orpheus asks for like larger, stronger ones, but no matter what, the help that Orpheus asks for in his personal volcano lair, they never return.
Ooh. It's ominous.
Dun, dun, dun.
Alright, well, whatever. I think we've gotten what we need, so.
So Ratley, it's all you.
I can do it now.
I give him a nod.
Let her rip, little buddy.
He, as she's kind of just looking, doesn't really. She's looking fondly at Sylvie and the others, and says,
This is for Aloe.
and pierces right through her eye without even a sound. Her head falls, and she is dead at your feet.
Well,
Oh, that felt good.
let's not relish too much.
Oh, hold on a sec.
And he pulls out a knife and he starts sawing off her one of her hands.
Whoa! Hold on.
It's almost as if you and I went to the same school of thought there, Bradley. I'm impressed.
This is for Aloe.
That's fair.
The foot? Her foot is for Aloe?
I want to prove that we killed her. And I don't think we can fit her head in my little pack. I'll settle for
That-
her.
Can you
that
just,
would-
like, sketch a nice picture?
No.
And he grabs it and shoves it in his little
Daniel
satchel.
is not used to bounty hunter work. I understand where you're coming from, Ratley.
See, Rangers gets it.
Okay, quick question before we go. What do we want to do with that crystal?
Well,
I want-
it's-
I'm tempted to destroy it, but destroying it might also tell Orpheus that something is up.
I mean, he has to know. He's got to know we're here. There's no way we've been successful in subverting him this far. He's probably laughing to himself right now in Orpheus fashion. So I ask you what you think the best course of action is.
I mean, ideally, I don't exactly know what flail snails do, but ideally we could feed it to the flail snail, because at least if Orpheus doesn't check in on this one person all the time, maybe he'll see it, oh shit, it was eaten by a flail snail. Well, I guess that happens sometimes.
Yeah, hey, I don't hate that plan.
Plausible deniability. Anulin, did you think you made a connection with the flail snail? Do you think you could give him a nice crystal magically snack to cement your bond?
Would I have any reason to believe that feeding a crystal to a flail snail would hurt it?
I with that nature roll, I don't think you don't have any reason to think that. They eat like a lot of rocks and shit.
Yeah, I was gonna say. I assume they eat rocks because that's how
and
they
gems
tunnel.
and crystals. Yeah.
So
Okay, I guess give me the crystal and I'll see if I can track it down the tunnel.
okay, I give her the crystal. I'm like, maybe don't unwrap it though, because who knows what's gonna fucking happen.
Okay.
Fair enough.
Anulin grabs the crystal from you and
Still
makes.
stay plummet.
And can you make a quick survival check for me, Anulin?
Now I'm worried I'm gonna kill the snail.
It's gonna choke on the cloth that's around the crystal.
No, she can unwrap it to feed it, just not while she's walking down.
That's fair.
Okay, you said survival, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry. 25.
25. Despite taking an hour, this creature doesn't move that fast, and you are able to catch up with it down a tunnel. The tunnel gets narrower and narrower. You have to crouch. I guess it's a pretty huge snail, so it gets narrower and narrower, but you're able to walk through it. You see, as you're stepping over, that a sheen of multicolored glass that you're walking over. And so it's not that difficult to track the flail snail, I guess. But you catch up to it a little bit quicker than you would have thought, and you see its shape going deeper into this tunnel that it already seems to have burrowed. Do you guys cut out?
No, we're listening.
Okay, cool. You guys were very still, so I'm like, oh no.
Deadly
I'm just
still.
preparing for the inevitable snail death.
Y'all don't have to feed it if you don't
Okay,
want to.
so
it was just a thought.
You're a couple dozen feet behind this snail that's making its way through the tunnel. You hear that gelatinous kind of slithery sound as it's making its way.
Do your best animal handling.
Can I... Oh.
Oh my.
Did anybody come with me?
I was going to go with her.
Yeah,
But-
we can say you went with her.
Can we say that Sylvie came with me?
Sure.
Oh,
So,
yeah, if you want Sylvie.
Sylvie comes
Okay,
with you.
Sylvie's with you. And Lumi.
And Lumi. Okay, so we're at the snail.
You're probably about 15 feet behind the snail. Yeah.
I don't want to cry over the snail. I'm gonna say, Sully, I'm kind of worried about this. Can you talk to the snail and see if it would like to eat this crystal?
Sylvie agrees and says something typically nonsensical. And the snail turns to face you, looks at you quizzically. Sylvie looks to you and says, "Well, Annulin, you're the ranger. Why don't you animal handle it?"
I can't talk to it though, right? With animal handling.
No, but you can try to
You can offer it.
You can offer it. You can try to calm it down.
Dr. Doolittle style.
Yeah.
I don't want to fucking force feed the snail of death.
You're offering it to it, and it can reject it if it wants
It's like
to.
feeding an apple to a horse.
Yeah, you're not stuffing the apple down the horse's throat.
Hold up the crystal, and I'm gonna just open the thing just to touch so it can see that it's a crystal, and say, "Hey, buddy, I thought that this might be a tasty snack for you. If you would like to eat it, and only if you would like to eat it, and think that it would be a good thing for you to eat, then I would like to offer it to you."
Okay.
But no pressure.
The snail interprets the shit out of complex sentences, by the way.
Make an animal handling check.
Oh,
With advantage, because Sylvie's helping you.
oh no, it was a salt crystal.
Oh no.
That was a good one, Andy.
Is it?
What?
It isn't. Is it salt? I can't.
It's not salt.
It's not salt, that was a joke. Oh my god.
Chris, forgive me. You guys are fucking with me and it's salt. I'm gonna be real mad.
Okay.
There you go.
Meanwhile, I go into my pack to find, to pick out some salt to rub on some meat for a snack, and I find the actual gem.
When you get Annulin, oh no.
Yeah.
Hold on. You guys are back?
Yep.
Okay, what do you get?
Hey.
Sorry.
23.
23. So it turns around and looks at you, and you can see both of the harpoons are still in its side, and there's a little bit of strange yellow blood kind of drizzling behind it, but oozing, but not too badly. And its four tendrils, flail-like tendrils, are inquisitively approaching and kind of tap it a little bit, and then it excitedly kind of lunges forward, and its head kind of slurps up the crystal out of your hand, almost like as it's trying to grab it away from you quickly. Oh, cutting out. Dang it.
Not the gout.
Check.
I missed some of that, but you said it's excited to eat it.
Yeah, it inquisitively and excitedly snatches the crystal from you and slurps it down into its folds of its invertebrate body, and it disappears behind the flesh, beneath the flesh, and there's a little bit of like a warm glow to the snail's shell, and it looks to be quite pleased as it
dies.
and it looks at you, and it's hard for like a monstrosity like that or elemental creature like that to kind of like show gratitude, but it does kind of waggle its little tendrils in your direction, somewhat almost appreciatively, before it starts to turn in the other direction.
Can it like lovingly nuzzle me with its eye stalks?
As it does that, it gets a little closer to you, and you feel this kind of slimy, these four slimy tendrils slather all over your face,
And you
And-
take.
and nuzzle
Million
you.
acid ban.
If there's some kind of like magical effect, it decided to make it, I forget, it decided to make it non-harmful to you, and it gave you a little bit of a pat and a little nuzzle with its little guys, and almost as if to thank you before turning and back down the tunnel.
See, you didn't kill it. You made it a friend.
Yeah. Can I try to take the harpoons off?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Gourd.
Why don't you attempt to make, what would that, a medicine check?
If I'm with her, I can.
17.
17? Oh yeah, make it do it with advantage. I mean,
Yeah, I'll help her with that.
Go.
17 plus 7, whatever that is.
okay. So you, as it's kind of lovingly nuzzling you, you are able to reach down and you calm it down a little bit and yank each one out. It kind of writhes with pain with each thrust, but once it realizes that it's too obnoxious, wounds and the harpoons that were in its side for over an hour now are gone. It once again seems appreciative and gives you that fond, slimy snuggling before it finally seems like that it gave you its full amount of appreciation that it was capable of, and it turns and starts heading back down towards its home or wherever else it's heading.
We made a friend today.
We did. I'm so happy.
Alright, let's head back.
Okay. So the three of you make your way back, and Ratley says,
Well, you didn't get all eaten by the snails. That's a good thing, I guess.
We made friends with snails. Who knew? Who knew?
Snails like us.
Who knew that this was what today would bring?
I
So,
certainly didn't, that's for sure.
so shall we carry on?
"Yeah,
Do we
hold on."
have to?
What was that?
I said, do we have?
Do we have
Still
to?
not feeling good, Vandris?
I think I've made a horrible mistake.
What kind of mistake?
Well, to be quite honest, when I was faced with that horrible foreman creature, I gave it temptation, ended up using that power that thing bestowed upon us.
Oh, jeez.
You didn't.
Meant before in my life. I'm that. I think I can say with
Sorry, you cut out there. You cut out after I think I can say blank. Hold on. Let's give it a sec. Check. You guys are cut out.
Have you tried the music? See if that helps.
Yeah,
testing.
I'm not.
There you go. That
I'm
sounds
not
better.
on. I'm not on what you call it. No.
Testing.
There we go.
I think I can say with certainty that thing was evil.
Can you? Did you? What did it feel like?
I felt very ill, physically, and I heard dark whisperings, and I don't want to have that happen again. But, again, I was backed in a corner, and I felt like I had no choice. My life was literally on the line.
You said you heard whispers. Who was whispering to you?
It sounded like that being.
The tall, gangly one with
Yes.
the eyes.
Hmm.
Well, I don't blame you that you used it. You were certainly on death's door. And I think we should all keep that in mind for next time.
I'm concerned if push comes to shove that I might fall to temptation again.
Do you feel somehow worse? Do you feel damaged or sick, or are there any lasting
I just
effects?
feel ill. That was really it, but it disturbed me on an emotional level as well. Listen. It's hard to describe what happened, but I physically felt my blade miss, and then once I was able to channel this power almost out of, it was almost an accident. I suddenly found myself striking true and delivering quite the blow.
Well, I don't even know what to think. It certainly makes me hesitate to even use whatever this power is.
I would advise against it.
Alright. I will keep that in mind.
Do you think that you can go on? I mean, I just can't see that we can turn back at this point.
No, I realize that, and nothing's going to stop me from hunting Orpheus, so we carry on.
If you can hold on, I think... I'm sure we'll find a way to fix this or make it better. I'm sure there's nothing... There's nothing wrong that can't be mended one way or another, but we have to... I don't think we can do much now, so just just hang in there, baby.
I understand.
Wise words.
I hope that some sort of connection hasn't been formed or strengthened in any way. I didn't expect to hear its voice in my head.
I'm going to ask Sylvie for the wand to dispel magic, and I'm going to use it and see if I can see any magical effects on him.
Detect magic?
Yes.
Okay. She gives you the wand, and does that go around magic items?
Yeah. So here.
So I'll just say it lights up for the Cloak of the Bat and Venom's Spine and whatever else Vanders has that's magical. But his person doesn't light up with any kind of magic.
Okay. So it doesn't seem like there's any particular, any specific magical effect or curse or anything on him.
Nope.
Okay.
Not that the wand is revealing.
Right. Okay. I think you're all right for now. But we'll keep this in mind, and I'll personally see if there's anything I can do to help you. But for now, let's keep going, and once this is done, we'll sort through this, find things out. I know some things, some people, some friends in high places I can ask, and we'll see what we can do, and we'll help you with this.
All right, I appreciate it. We'll carry on for now then.
Alright, so she mentioned a way, I think, out of character, she may have mentioned how to get to the beehive. Is that right?
Yeah.
Did.
So how does she, do we keep going on the minecart?
So
we go back this way.
in this direction.
Okay.
To where the minecart was.
Okay, yeah, so we'll get in, and I guess we'll just follow the path that she told us to go.
Okay.
Yeah. Keeping an eye out for other crooks and stuff, obviously, as we go.
Okay. And so with that, you're going to get back on the minecart and start heading in the direction. And so you all pile in, and Ratley actually taking the time to saw off the other hand too and stuff in his bag.
Sure.
And he goes along. He seems to be very pleased as he's walking away. He says,
Well, Alo's gonna be so happy when she hears about what happened. You guys, you have no idea how much cruelty Melancholia brought upon so many crooks.
Well, I'm glad we did at least one good thing today.
So you lot are so bad.
We're just getting started, don't worry.
Well, good, this makes me feel good. I feel like we're really starting a mutiny.
You feel like a hero.
Something like that, I guess. I don't know what a hero does.
We promised Elo that we would end the cruel tyranny of Melancholia, and that we did.
Yeah, that was quick. I like
It was
that. Yeah.
quick.
She's not as bad once before you lot. You just took care of it like that.
Right.
We're something of professionals, if you will.
By now. 7.
Okay. So you make your way down the track of the minecart, and you go down a tunnel. And once again, you hear kind of the sounds of the larger cavern growing louder and louder and louder. And you see once again that opening of the shimmering torchlight gleaming off of the gem-encrusted walls of this cavern. And are you going to stop or are you going to just keep going?
Does it sound like anything's like immediately close by?
Make a perception check, actually.
14.
14. Okay. You can hear.
I should have hidden the bodies or something.
You.
I guess.
What? I didn't hear it. What?
So as the cart goes, you can hear that there, with the echo, it's kind of difficult to place how close things are.
Yeah, I would just say let's maybe slow down a little bit until we can see. But if there's like, if we get, I guess basically, let's kind of go slow until we hit the cavern entrance, and then we'll play it by ear.
Okay.
Scope it out.
Okay. You take it a little bit slow, and you get to the cavern entrance. And as you scope out, once again, you see a very familiar sight: the huge cavernous area. However, there seem to be a higher number of the crooks mounted on the fat wasp-looking, bee-looking creatures. And they're flying all around, and as you are leaving, you can see that they are entering the tunnel that you first came in to go down that way, where you had encountered Melancholia. And
wait, they're entering which tunnel?
so they're entering up and around. So you had come out and around and then gone back into a tunnel and then gotten to Melancholia that way.
Right.
So you see the bees up where you had come in
Okay.
and gone into the same tunnel that you had made your way, and they're flying through the carved tunnel basically towards the direction of Melancholia.
Okay. As if they were like tracking where we had gone.
Well, as if they were just going to where Melancholia was.
Okay. I guess we'll keep. So, what the track that we're on currently goes where?
So the track that you're on currently, once again, the slats come out from the sides of the cavern wall and continue to make its way for quite a while along.
Yeah, we'll just keep going
along the wall. Okay, and so you keep going. You are the cart clatters as it makes its way alongside this track that's built alongside of the cavern. You remember the way that Melancholia told you. A series of lefts and rights and pivots. It takes you, you manage to, and how fast are you going, real quick?
I would say moderate. Go ahead.
I think that it looks like those guys on bees are going to see that we've killed Melancholia, so maybe we ought to hustle.
Fair point. I let up on the brake and we'll go fast.
So you let up on the brake as soon as you notice these bees, and it starts clattering and you start rocketing through the cavern. You manage to, there are a couple of quick turns and choices that you would have had to make, but you're able to easily guess and maybe just stop and turn the track the right way, depending on how Melancholia had told you. Not that long after, you hear a loud dinging of a bell start going off. It's ding, 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 as it starts to echo through the caverns, and you hear kind of voices, Melancholia, I'm dead, killed, Melancholia is dead, God, the snail, rah, rah. And you start hearing shouting voices. And you are going so quickly that as you are turning one of the corners down one of the tunnels that you're in, it is so sharp, and with how fast you're going, I'm going to need, let's do a group acrobatics check. Or group athletics or acrobatics check in order to get it back on the track.
Mother of God.
26.
Okay.
It's gonna be 16.
Okay.
24 for me.
24. Okay.
24 as well for athletics, and then Sylvie. At least 19, possibly 22. I don't know if she's proficient.
19 and 22.
Well, I'm 24. Let's say she's 19.
Okay. So as that happens, Ratley is trying to, and you clatter back on the track. And let me try to pull up some appropriate music here, guys. Sorry, I'm just like, I need some.
You need some
Dun,
music.
dun, 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 dun,
Here we
dun, dun, dun.
Come on, let me do it. So the bells start ringing loudly as you get the sense that the crooks have finally discovered the ruins of the fight that you had left behind and not really made any attempt to hide. And you hear a few, "Oh look, there they are!" as you're just out alongside the alongside the wall of the cavern here.
We didn't really think this one through.
And with that, let's just unveil this for the sake of boink. So this is where you guys are, and why don't we just put all the minis in there?
Oh, Jesus.
So, as you're making your way through, you are basically going at full speed. As soon as you are managed to right the cart again from the sharp turn, it barrels you right back out onto a track that goes alongside back out into the cavern, and almost waiting for you, you see 4 crooks riding these large bee creatures as they start to pursue you here. And so let me I'm just gonna do all of these tokens as a B token, but there is a one mounted. There's a relatively small one mounted on each one, and these would be a little bit larger, but they're not the scale. You get the idea.
So these are bees?
So these are bees, crooks with hand crossbows mounted on these bee creatures as they're trying to. Go ahead.
Do we have any cover? Like the sides of the minecart?
The sides of the minecart are about like here deep, your chest. So you would
Could
have
we duck down?
Yes,
if we
you would
wanted
be able
to
duck down, but they are able to get up above
Okay.
it.
Okay.
And so, just for the sake of this whole wacky minecart, I just want everyone to roll some initiative, and you guys can pass turns or whatever. But let's just do some initiative here.
24 again.
Okay.
12.
9.
Put Rhodak last.
Okay. 9 again. 12 for Annulin. What did Sylvie get?
9.
You both got 9?
First.
Okay.
Dana's got 24.
Vander's got a 24.
Correct.
Okay. Annulin got a 22? I think so.
No, 12.
Yeah, it was a 12.
Boink. Ratley got this, and then it is Monsters 1. And they're just gonna all go together because they're just basically they're riding, and then you can kind of get a sense that these are you had seen the wasps as these attack pets of the crooks when they first attacked Goldhaven. You didn't actually fight me when they managed to dodge most of those encounters, but these are much larger and fatter, and the horrific spikes that seem to be growing out of them seem to be a lot smaller, as if they've been bred for just being mounted, that they wouldn't harm the rider. And so, Vandris, what are you doing?
I don't really want to attack with my fucking bow, because that's always really bad. I have a crossbow, I think. I don't even know what kind of ranged weaponry I have. That's like how bad this is.
I mean, you should. They're well within crossbow range if you want to do that.
Well, you have a short bow, I believe.
I have a short bow, you're right. So wait, alright, I'm just trying to understand this whole situation appropriately. Are we actively moving very quickly?
Yes. This is a chase. So you are alongside, the track is built out onto the side of the cavern wall, and you're seeing basically a lot of the mining operation, all the different tunnels down below you, and these bees are basically flying behind you and alongside chasing you.
And we have no idea how long this could be.
Yeah, she just basically gave you directions that you kind of kept to memory, and Ratley's just saying it over and over again to make sure everyone remembers. Like left, right, right, over and over and over again.
Then I'm going to pull up my short bow, and I'm going to eye up whatever one is closest.
Okay.
And I'm going to say, here goes my best Annulet impression, as I draw back the bow and hope that to God I'm not too rusty.
Is it over there?
Yeah, it's
on the table.
Okay.
Do you have a bow or a crossbow?
I have a short bow.
Oh. Have you ever used it?
Yeah, I think once or twice.
Years ago.
There is a Xanathars over here. But...
Oh,
Literal years ago.
literally years ago.
Oh, God, I rolled a 10.
A 10. You pull out your shot, and your impression of Annulin's not that good as the arrow flies off into the
A
cavern.
wee bit rusty, eh?
And then I Wilhelm scream as I throw myself from the minecart.
Well, no. As the arrow flies down into you hear a ah as it hits someone down in the cavern. With that, it is their turn. So they are all going to basically only be able to maintain their pace currently, and they are going to, with how fast you're going. I wish I could find the fucking card that I'm looking for. I'm sorry, guys. Oh, here we go. They're each going to just shoot at you, and you guys have cover. So I'm just going to just do 4 here. 2 of those hit, and I'm going to just roll a d6 as far as who they hit. That's going to hit Ratley. As the crossbow bolts are all flying in, and one of them gets Ratley in the shoulder, and he pulls it out and doing not that much damage. Okay, and so as you are being chased, hold on one sec.
How wounded does Ratley look from that shot?
I mean, he looks a little not honestly not that wounded. Hold on. Okay. As you're going, who's at the front of the cart here, real quick?
Where's the break?
What?
Is the break at the front or the back?
The break is at the back.
Okay.
Who's at the front? Is anyone at the front? You guys can choose if there's any.
Probably me. I feel like I'm just bait at this point.
Okay. Why don't you make a perception check, Avantris?
I'd love to. Oh, baby. It's a good one. 21.
21. So as you're rattling down the sides, how fast you're going, you're shaking the sides of the cavern here, and you start to see that rocks are starting to tumble down towards the track. And so, what do you want to do about that? What does the group want to do about it?
Say again?
Rocks are starting to fall down on.
I want to pull up on the break. If
Okay.
I pull up on the break, does it look like they'll pass before?
It depends on how hard you pull up on it.
I want to pull up in a way to let the rocks pass before, and then they.
So that's like a judgment, right?
Right.
I don't know if you would clarify that as dexterity. Maybe you would. He's gonna try to time it to where he thinks the speed of the rocks are going versus how fast we're going.
Okay, why don't you just make an athletics check here?
How big are the rocks? Are they all like...
Enough to have them fall and we all die.
11.
11. You manage to screech it to a halt, and you hear a loud and it echoes through the cavern as the bees. Why don't we just can you move them like at least a good
This
60 feet? Forward.
This way, right?
No, they were behind you, so they just moved.
Oh, we're going this way?
Yeah.
Oh,
We're
okay.
going that way.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we're going this way. So they are like this way.
Yeah. So they're like a good 60 feet that way. You manage to stop just in time as a huge boulder goes through. It smashes down through one of the wooden beams, but the track manages to stay together just barely. However, there is a little bit of debris that comes in, and who's going to be taking this damage here? One. Rodek is going to be taking.
Sounds appropriate.
7 points of bludgeoning damage as a rock smacks and hits you in the face. And with that, the bees are now ahead of you, and they're starting to turn. Annulin, what are you doing?
I am going to fire 2 arrows into the closest bee rider, not the bee.
Okay.
So number 4.
Yep.
It's a 25 and a 28 to hit.
25 and 20 hit 8, both hit.
So we can get a better angle going here. There we go.
It's 26 total.
26 total damage. You fire twice, and despite after Rodek slamming on the brakes and coming to a halt, both arrows fly. They make impact on his chest. He lets out another Wilhelm scream as he falls off of the bee deep into the cavern. And it seems once the rider is gone, the bee turns in the other direction and just flies off. In the direction that you're going, actually.
Of course. We're going to the hive.
Okay. Ratley is, after pulling the bolt out, he is going to then level it and try to shoot at one with the cart stopped. And it's going to fly off in the cavern. Okay. Ganji, you're up.
Are any of them wounded?
No, Annulin just basically one-shot one of them.
Okay, I'm going to Sacred Flame the nearest one.
Okay.
Which is...
And we'll say that'll hit both of them, one in the same space.
Okay. So Dex saves.
Dex saves, okay.
DC 15.
Both fail. One crit.
Okay.
Well, doesn't crit. Can't crit. Fail.
So they take 10 radiant damage.
Each take 10 radiant damage? Yep. Okay. So number 3. Which one died? Number 4.
4. Yeah.
After seeing Annulin kill one of the riders, you say a prayer to Bahamut, and the pillar of platinum flame you're basically calling it an airstrike, and managed to hit both of them. They are singeing. They look wounded, and it looks like he might fall off the bee, but he manages to hold on, and he is still about to hit you guys. Okay. With that, it is Sylvie's turn.
Okay, so Sylvie is going to attack, throw Glitter Lance at the one that Ganji just hit.
Okay.
For 20.
Okay. Hits.
So 8 damage.
8 damage to number 4. To number 3.
Whichever one you said.
To number 3. With that, the first arc of the Glitter Lance takes his head completely off, and the body flies off, and the bee flies off.
Then,
a little bit wounded, but it seems to be okay.
The next one hits for 13 damage on number 1.
30 damage on number 1.
Yeah.
It hits him right in the chest. He looks very wounded, but he is barely hanging on here. Rhoda, you're up.
Okay, so I want to put the break down and just get us going again.
Okay, you use your full action, and just for this sake, why don't you just make another athletics check, and let's see how quickly you're going here.
plus 8, 12.
Okay, you heave your weight into it, and you are to propel it forward. The momentum is enough to get you back going. It rattles a little bit as you're making your way, but you manage to continue. And the bees are getting ready to swoop back in here. Vandris, you're up.
All right. Am I in range to still make another shot? The bows have like crazy range, right?
Yeah, you're in range to make another shot.
All right, I'll just take another shot at the closest one.
Okay.
13.
Number 1.
13 to number 1. That does not hit. It fires off again. You hear ah! As you may be hitting people, and you are continuing to go down. And so with that, they are going to basically get the opportunity to fly beside you and make melee attacks against. And I'm just gonna roll randomly for who they're going to. Ganji, two sword attacks.
Make sure you're not including the big bads and stuff.
No. And one's gonna miss, but one is gonna critically hit. Dealing 7 points of slashing damage to you, and then this guy is going to hit Sylvie, and he's going to do 2 slashing attacks, and one's going to miss, but the other's going to hit, dealing 7 points of slashing damage to Sylvie as they attack. And with that, it is... Okay, and so you're... Once again, they are flying aside you. They're attacking you as they're going. And with the little bit of... with your delay, it's taking a while to get your momentum back up. And you actually start to hear, as you go back into a tunnel, you are then... You notice that the tracks are side by side with another set of tracks, and you hear a rattling as another minecart is behind you. You see that there's one creature in this minecart, a huge hulking teal-skinned crook with a huge harpoon and a look like he is out for blood. And I don't know, I'm not going to find the right... Do I have the right token for... Yeah, I do. He is now, I'm going to say he's right about there. I'm just going to roll initiative for him real quick.
Is he like traveling towards us or same direction?
He's in the same direction as you are. So you went into a tunnel, and then another cart came around from another tunnel, and now they're going side by side, and the cart is he's trying to get it. With how much weight he has in that cart, he is coming up fast, and he has his harpoon ready to go. And then let's go with this action here.
I can see all of this in like perfect cartoony fashion in my head.
I'm glad. Hold on, sorry. So both of as it starts to as you make your way through the tunnel, both tracks side by side, the amount of weight and the amount of excitement, and you're starting to get the sense that the earthquake that Melancholia had caused actually did a little bit of damage to the cavern more broadly than what you were working on. The cart the track is starting to crumble behind you as you are making your way over it, and as you're basically passing over a deep ravine that goes beneath as you're going through this tunnel. This chasm goes down. The slats are actually built into the sides of the chasm here, and I am going to need. Let's get another group acrobatics or a group strength athletics check.
18.
15.
18, 15, okay.
20 and 10.
10, okay.
I got a 9.
Okay. Okay, so as you're crashing your way, rattling over these tracks, you see these wooden beams splintering and falling down into the ravine below. And the same thing is happening to the track beside you. This seems to be very shakily and hastily built, just like the rest of Gangplank. And it's not meant for high-speed chases like this. However, you are able to basically put enough speed into it that you're able to outpace the track and prevent yourselves from tumbling into the ravine below. But however, it seems as if the harpoon wielding crook has done the same as well. And with that, it is Annulin's turn. And the two bees are still flying beside you, by the way.
Okay.
They're like over you at this point.
Fire 2 arrows at the rider on. I think that's number 1.
Okay, those will be disadvantaged because they're practically in melee.
Oh.
They're up in your bee's nest.
Hey! Got it.
I got Andy.
Alright, first one is a 13 to hit.
13 to hit, that misses.
$15 to hit.
15 hits.
Okay. My high roll was a 20 on that one, for what it was worth.
Bees,
Which is nothing.
Folly says no. A simple no.
That one's, it's not damaged, is it?
No. The two that are currently alive are not damaged.
Okay, 9 damage.
Okay, 9 damage to number, what was that? Was that 2? Or 1?
1.
1, okay. The two bee riders are basically up in your business, swinging their swords down. They manage to knock your bow out of the way for the first shot, but your second shot does find you making care not to kill the bee, and it shoots up and hits the crook, and he looks like he's wounded, but not badly so. And Ratley is going to try to follow up on your target, and he is going to hit.
Yeah, Ratley.
And right after your arrow finds its mark, the crossbow follows up right through his throat, and he falls off. You see him hit the railing hard as he falls into the chasm below, as both tracks once again get onto solid earth as you go through the tunnels continuously. And Ratley's turn. And so the harpooner is going to continue to chase, but because he is heavier, he's going to go 1, 2, 3, and he's going to be able to catch up a little bit. And with that, he is going to, let's see who he's going to throw his harpoon at. Ganji.
Let's see if he crits.
Let's see if he crits. And he will not crit. So he has his harpoon, and he's trying to aim it. He heaves the harpoon. Ganji says nope, and gets in and basically turtles up into the minecart, and it bounces off of the shield. And you see, similar to what you had fought previously, that actually was going to kill Reeve. There is a rope attached to this harpoon, and he yanks it back and gets ready to go again. And with that, it is Ganji's turn.
Okay. Okay. I guess I can't do that. Well, okay. This is what I would like to do, and let me know if I can. What I would like to do is get behind closest to this guy where he would be throwing.
Okay.
And I want to ready my shield to block the javelin if he throws it at me and catch it.
Okay. Okay.
Which I guess is just preparing an action.
Yeah, just prepare an action as far as to catch it, and you'll make a check at the time, and we'll see what happens.
Yeah.
Okay. So you're ready after blocking his first harpoon. You're ready to try to catch it this time.
Yeah.
Sylvie's up.
Sylvie will just throw I don't know what spell she has, so I'm just gonna throw 2 Eldritch Blasts. So 13 and 25.
At the bee?
No, this guy.
13 misses, but the 25 hits.
Okay. 6. 6 plus 4 is 10.
10? Okay. 6 plus 4 is 10. You got it. 10 points of damage. One of the arcs misses with all of the excitement of the bee on top. One of the arcs does manage to hit the harpooner in the chest. Its huge form, it starts to singeing its flesh a little bit. Roderick, you're up.
Okay. So is the track behind us collapsing as we go?
It was collapsing, and now you're over back on the sturdy ground again. It was collapsing into a chasm.
I want to break a little bit.
Okay.
So that we can get kind of even.
Okay.
I want to basically try to match his speed.
Okay. You match it. You are up on the brake a little bit, just to the point, and then you're going to try to speed up a little bit to basically maintain it.
Yeah, basically I want to kind of brake, but like not completely full brake.
Okay.
Sort of slow up and then like try to.
Why don't you just make a? Do you have proficiency in land vehicles?
I do.
Okay. Can you make a whatever check that would be?
What would that be?
Well, just make an athletics check, but add your proficiency for the land vehicles, I guess.
Okay. 16. 19?
19. Okay, you're able to match his speed, so you just want to pull the crook up next to you guys. He seems surprised.
I guess that's probably my action, right? Or
So, yeah, I mean, so, yeah. I'd say you could probably use that as a bonus action if you want to try to make an attack.
Okay.
I don't know if you're gonna.
So I guess if I have the time, I'm going to kind of break, keep an eye out to make sure that there aren't any like turns or whatever.
Okay.
And I'm gonna try to come in and make an attack. Can we reach him? Do you think?
Yeah, I'd say you guys are side by side. That's fine. Yeah.
So I'll just make the old double attack. 20 something and 19.
19. They both hit.
13, 23 damage.
23 damage. Okay.
Actually, I'm gonna make the second one a pushing attack.
Okay.
I love it.
So, make a strength saving throw.
Okay, so what's the damage first? So I have.
So it's 20. What did I say? It was 5 and it wasn't great. It was like 15 or something.
Okay.
Or no, it was 18.
18 total.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, so you swing your axe, and you hit both. You swing your axe, and on the second one, you are putting all of your strength. And what I got to do is make a saving throw.
Strength saving throw. DC 16.
Oh
Yeah.
my god, this works.
That's a 9.
Hey! So he gets pushed 15 feet. So however that would work.
I rolled a one more strength saving throw just to see if he could stay in the cart. He rolled another 4. So Rodak, he hacked into him once, hacks into him again, used all of his strength, and managed to overpower this massive brute. And you see him fly out of the cart. His head smashes onto the side of the tunnel as you rocket forward. The cart rattles and skids off and clatters back behind out of the tunnel. And you guys speed forward.
Nice
And
job.
I blink and I'm like, well, there goes my plan.
I was going to jump in his minecart. You prevented me from having to leap onto it.
Let's get going, come on! And I let the brake all the way down and max speed. But I want to be kind of mindful of any turns, like any, you know what I mean? Basically kind of slowing up a little bit to account for that.
Okay. Vandus, you're up.
If I'm close enough, I just want to stab that bee.
Okay.
Or
Stab.
the guy riding the bee, not necessarily.
Okay. You can, that's fine.
17.
17, that hits. Roll damage.
27 points of damage.
27 points of damage. So as this bee rider is trying to hack at you, you manage to dodge and stick your rapier up right through his crocodilian skull. He lets out a harp and then falls and clatters down back towards the crook that left him. And as you are all, as you are making your way out of the tunnel, the track that's beside you starts to end and go off into another tunnel, and you see that there is a large wooden door, but it's so fast and you turn the corner, you're not able to stop it because of how fast you're going. You smash through a drawbridge, and I need everyone to make one more acrobatics or athletics check.
20.
19.
Sylvie got a 5.
I got a 13.
Okay.
Rodek got a 24.
Okay, so you bash through what looked like it was a drawbridge, wooden drawbridge where the rail continued, but Rodek was going so fast that he's not able to let up in time. You smash through. Everyone takes 7 points of bludgeoning damage. And although it looks like you're going to fall, the amount of lift you had, everyone's able to lift the cart up and kind of use their body, the sheer force of it, to kind of leap forward and then clatter back down onto the rails as you continue your way through the cavern. And as you hear the loud tolling of the bell, you vanish into the front. Make a perception check for me.
Okay. Oh, yeah, that's a good one. 23.
23. Okay, as you finally crash your way out of that, the amount of momentum takes you upwards and upwards, and as you're going up to around the corner, you remember what Melancholia told you. Avantris, you start to hear the sound of buzzing as you see that past the cart, in a relatively small hole, about probably just barely larger than the minecart, is a hole that's covered in this sticky, sappy resin, and you see one of the fat bees that was flying off go back in as you are turning the corner alongside of the cavern here. What are you guys gonna do?
So, do we need to stop?
So basically, right up. Basically, the cart is turning and is going up and around, and then basically about 10 feet up above the wall seems to be a little hole that's covered in this sticky resin where this bee just flew.
Yeah. So we'll if that's something that is that it, Avantris?
That sounds to be the place.
I pull up on the brake.
Okay. You pull up on the brake, and the cart screeches to a halt. And you see that there are mine carts deploying. There's more riders deploying, but you are all gonna scramble up into the hole.
Yeah.
Okay.
Up and in.
You guys just take turns. You guys don't really need to do a roll for it, but you are able to make your way in. But the opening is there. Is there anything you guys want to do about that?
What is there anything that we could block the? Wait, so we have climbed up, and that's
yeah. Let me I guess set the scene there. So as you heave yourself out of the minecart, your hands hit a sticky substance as this thick, sappy resin comes off onto your hand and kind of this golden amber looking color as you hear the clattering and the bells in the mine below, but then the sound of buzzing overcomes your senses as a very narrow tunnel that looks like it is definitely built into the earth, but is built into the earth, but is basically covered in flaky hive material alongside and covered in resin. You basically entered what seems to be like a passage in the hive of these monstrous wasp-like creatures.
This could get ugly real quick.
And is there Can we like take some of the sticky stuff and just like jam it in the passage behind us?
You can certainly try. Like, what are you thinking? Like,
So
What a huge hole.
How big's the hole that we?
probably about 10 by 10.
Okay, so it's pretty tough.
Yeah, there's no way. Maybe we just have.
What? Sorry, you.
Maybe we just have to head in.
Is there anything above it that we can?
Like loose rocks or
yeah.
anything.
Wait, hang on. Did we push the cart? Did the cart track end?
No. So the cart track went up to a stop, and it kind of arced up here, and then kind of went back. Would have gone back down and continued into another tunnel.
Can we just keep the cart going so maybe they won't know we came up here?
Give it a kick.
Yeah.
Oh, that's not a bad idea.
Okay.
All right. Let's hope we don't need this anymore.
Okay, so Ganny's gonna go down and just give it a heave.
Yeah.
Okay. Just make a quick athletics check for me.
Oh,
I'm also not thrilled about the idea of sealing ourselves into this potential hive.
That's fair.
That's gonna be a 19.
19. So you manage to kind of, Rhoda gives you a hand and lets you down. You use all of your strength to give the cart a massive kick, and it starts rattling down. And why don't we get a group deception check?
Jesus
We've never done a group deception check before.
Oh shit! I'm hot with
19.
these 16s.
20.
17 for me.
21 with Rodek. Sylvia got like a 8.
Okay. So you wait a little bit in the mouth of this this tunnel
Cave of the mouth.
as your trusty cart is kind of almost reminiscent of the days where you had the wooden cart, but this was a minecart, rattles off, and you start to see bees and other crooks kind of head in that direction of which it went off towards there. And you've made your way into what she referred to as the hive of Zingara. Or Zingara's hive, rather.
Are there any bees near us?
Why don't you make a perception check, Annuland?
That's a 13. So I'm asking if they're... basically just the lay of the land. Like, what do we see inside the hive?
So, the area of which you're in. Here, let me. Sorry. We're just gonna do this for now. Oh, sorry about that. So the gist is. Sorry. Here we go. So, as you finally acclimate yourself, this is much darker. There does seem to be a little bit of light glinting off of the resin here, and this sappy substance that seems to be catching some kind of a light and bouncing throughout the hive. But there is this papery hive substance as well as this sticky grossness, and it's relatively tight. The opening was about 10 by 10, and it gets a little bit narrower where you're at, and you hear loud buzzing. And it basically is, from what you can tell, a just very narrow tunnel that looks just like a beehive that you're used to, or a wasp hive that you're used to, but just blown up to like monstrous proportions. And you don't currently see any bees, but you hear the loud buzzing, at least from right down the tunnel. So the tunnel kind of curves off to the right, I believe. Let's actually see.
So we're here.
So you guys are
Why
here.
don't we set the scene?
Yeah. So you guys are basically back, not quite there yet, but basically it's curving off to the right. And you see that it might open up to a larger chamber. You kind of hear a loud buzzing coming from the tunnel up ahead.
Okay.
All right.
And it's pretty dark, right?
Yeah,
Okay.
it's dark.
Should we try to like sneak through?
I believe that's always the best course of action.
What were you gonna say, Anulin?
It wasn't gonna be sneak through.
What would you like to do?
I was gonna say that I would get in the lead and start, I guess, stealthily making our way forward towards the buzzing zone.
Okay. With that,
Does it feel like we're going up?
yes.
Okay.
So you've gone up. This is basically the very top of the cavern. Your wild and wacky Mr. Ratley's wild ride had led you to the top of the cavern area, and if only it was Mr. Winky's wild ride, that would have been great. Or Mrs. Winky, or Miss Winky. Had basically brought you to the top of that cavern structure, and it seemed as if all of the tunnels in this hive are all heading upward.
Alright, lead the way.
Okay, Aylin, you're taking the lead?
Yeah, I'm gonna start moving us forward, and I'd like to just keep an eye out for a bee, like a worker bee.
Okay, so you make your way through. Is everyone gonna roll stealth check? Is that what you guys are doing?
Sure.
I am,
Okay.
certainly.
Ratley's gonna do that.
Oh, we're all very stealthy.
I'm very...
I got a 31.
Okay.
I got a 5.
Okay.
Actually, no, let me give myself guidance for that, because...
I got a 24.
That makes it an 8. Not much better.
Okay.
13 for Rodak and 17 for Sully.
So
Or no, 19 for Sully.
you creep through, and Ganji, you get the sense that you're normally walking around would make like things like rattly with your plate and your footsteps very loud, but because of the soft, flaky, and sticky, sappy lit floor to this tunnel, it's not actually making as much noise as you were expecting. You're a little bit louder than the rest of the group for sure, but it's not as bad as you were expecting. So Anulin leads the way, and the buzzing gets louder and louder. You continue to creep your way through the tunnel. You keep walking and walking and walking, and you're walking actually for the tunnel expands and contracts, but it seems as if like this was really an accidental or a very off part of this hive, as you finally hear the buzzing culminate into this cacophonous drone as you turn your corner and see the hive open up into a large chamber. You see just dripping sappy resin falling down from the ceiling, combs and combs and combs built all into the wall, all the way up the ceiling. You see little bits of larvae that would normally be tiny, but are actually these big, bulbous, pulsing, gross larvae and pupa stages of what you can only imagine to be these bee-like creatures. And as you approach, you see movement, and there is a buzzing dance of dozens and dozens and dozens of monstrous-looking bee creatures, but these don't seem to be the kinds that have been used by the crooks. These all seem to be relatively soft in their fuzz, and not the same kind of spiky protrusions and spiked fangs. Anulin, why don't you make a quick nature check for me?
$11.
11. These seem to be workers, you could probably guess. They don't even seem to really have... They each do have a stinger, but it's very small. And they seem to be flying around, collecting the resin, moving it around, building this kind of the papery substance that builds the hive. Some are kind of tending to the larva, and you see these swarms around. However, you do manage to see that there are around a dozen of the same monstrous looking, like right about here, we'll say. Monstrous looking, actually no, we're covering this. Whoops, sorry guys.
monstrous-looking attack wasps.
Whatever you want to call them.
So there are bees amongst them, but they don't
Bees
seem super
amongst them,
harmful.
but they don't seem that harmful. They're about the same size, but they look kind of plump and not that threatening, frankly. And but you do see that among them there are about 12 guard drone
Jesus fuck.
creatures.
Do they seem to notice us?
Not at the present.
Annulin, what do you know about bees and their ability to sense us?
What would I know about them?
Do an interpretive dance to communicate with them and get through them.
We'll keep that nature check. Your sense of the of these bees, of what you know about them is that they're not, they're not as like super highly perceptive, I guess, as you would think that other large insect creatures might be.
So they're not like real bees.
Are
Like,
bees super perceptive?
I think they have like insane like sense of smell. Like I think that they would have known we were coming like 10 miles away.
Well, or these are
something.
these are hornets. So like I don't know, they're not bees. They're like hornet creatures. So this stat block that I have, they're not very perceptive at all.
Should we roll around in the honey and like mask our smell or something?
I was gonna say we should call one over and try to see if we could get it to take us to its queen.
Hey you, bee. Come here, bee.
I wonder if we should not draw attention to ourselves, if possible.
I doubt they speak common. It's just my hunch.
Bees speak through interpretive dance, as Avantris so astutely pointed out earlier.
Well, I'm up for anything. This is I'm a little out of my depth here.
I don't think we.
You're not pressing your button.
Am I?
Now you are.
Now you are.
That was weird. I'm telling you, this is acting up, man. We don't need to find the queen. We just need to get through, correct?
Right.
I think that the queen could grant us access through her. Do you think we're gonna get through a freaking bee colony without the queen?
It's an animal. It's not gonna be like, welcome to my kingdom and pass.
It has a name.
It's gonna bite your head off or sting you right to the face.
Well, then it will die, and I'll just have welt.
You'll be dead because it's probably 4 times the size of you. No, we should just try to sneak through.
Sneak ahead, my friend.
Done and done. I'd like to roll for stealth.
Well, did we already
You guys are already stealth.
I got a 31. I just walked right past them.
So
See you on the other side, nerds.
So you guys aren't going to do any of the honey shit or any of that. So,
Well, I think that's a good idea. I mean,
I just kind of like a little bit of honey.
I hate the idea, but it might be a good one.
No honey for old Vandy.
I'm just gonna slap like a little bit, not like completely cover myself.
Yeah, I am too.
So get like little bits.
Radley
you know.
looks at you just like,
well, I guess if everybody's doing it, I guess I will.
and so he starts slathering honey the sappy resin all over himself, and
Well, I hope this works.
Me too. Me fucking too.
Are they like above us, buzzing around?
yeah, they're all up above you guys. You see a couple of workers kind of like walking along the ground briefly, and then they all go and fly back up. It seems as if all of the sentry drones, or whatever you would call those, are all kind of flying around, just kind of keeping a watch on things. They're not really assisting the worker bees at all in their work.
We tiptoe through the bees.
Okay. And so you tiptoe through the bees. You continue this way, and it seems to be very much a similar sight as you make your way through this hive. It seems to go on forever and ever and ever. It goes on very quickly. You are walking, stealthing through. The honey on you, they don't seem to pay any mind to you. They're going about their business. They seem to be going about their business. And as you occasionally step through, you do, however, occasionally see the corpse of a crook. Some skeleton, some preserved in that thick resin, fully glossed over, some totally picked clean. But you do get the sense of maybe some of them kind of had beast tamer-like equipment on them. You get the sense of maybe some of those that were trying to tame some of these creatures went in and did not survive. You see the same kind of like fat mountain ones that are considerably larger than the others, but don't really seem to have the same kind of offenses. They're kind of similar, like worker types, kind of on an in-between there, and they don't seem to pay you any mind. However, you continue to make your way deeper and deeper through, and then the buzzing continues to get louder. The resin continues to get thicker and thicker, and almost this solidifies. It's almost this crystalline substance, as if you're in this beautiful amber, these beautiful amber hallways that are all in the shape of hexagonal shapes all throughout. You hear loud buzzing that sounds to be less lackadaisical and kind of the daily grind, and more purposeful, kind of an angrier, more chaotic buzzing. And you see in this huge chamber with huge number of honeycombs with all of these different sacks of larvae and pupa all on the walls. You see in the middle of this chamber an enormous creature. It's the similar size of an enormous wasp or hornet, but it is probably a good 5 or 6 times bigger than the biggest that you had seen. Yeah, or rather bigger than the standard bees that you had seen. And this has huge black eyes, spikes going in every single direction, 6 monstrous legs that are hairy on the inside with spiked appendages, and almost claw-looking protrusions, almost hand-like, as this monster would flitter around, tending to whatever these incubating young creatures were, and spinning around in a circular fashion, are smaller, but definitely about as monstrous as this queen, almost as if a queen and her royal bee guards.
If you could say
If you could say that.
If you could say that. And so hold on, I'm just gonna say what. Here we go.
So it's safe to assume that that's the queen.
You could probably guess.
Probably a safe bet.
And these do not seem to be Can you place those in like a better fashion? Can you place those in like a circular formation around her?
There's the queen bee. Let's put her like there. There you go.
There should be 6, right?
There's 5.
Oh, really?
We're missing 3.
One might be stacked on top of each other. Yeah. Either way.
Okay.
So, 6 of these creatures with very similar spiky protrusions, even more monstrous than any of the wasp-like creatures that you saw that the crooks had tamed. And they do not seem to be kind of going about business. They seem to be looking all over, looking here and there. They're very, very alert. and you can kind of get the sense with the way that their head is moving that they're sniffing.
And we're all the way
Or
back
trying
here
to
and we
sniff.
see that.
Or you guys are probably...
Yeah, we'll just say, let's put Vandris probably right up here. So we made it past those first bees.
Yeah, you made it. You guys have been walking through tunnels upwards and upwards for a long time.
Got it.
A basically similar looking business.
Can we see into the passage to see if there's a way out on the other side?
Make a perception check.
That's not great. It's gonna be a 6.
A 6. You look past and you think that there are some... You do happen to see a few potential different passageways, but a lot of them they might be covered up in resin and the like. But you do see... It's kind of hard to tell with the buzzing and how dark it is.
Okay.
That there might be passageways to continue. But there's really been no other way to go but this direction.
Okay.
Well, I think it's going to be tough to sneak past these.
I wonder if we still don't have to fight.
I mean, I'm all for avoiding this kind of confrontation.
Annulin, what about your idea?
I don't know. These guys look a little meaner than the fuzzy ones.
What if we have... I hate to be accused of being a one-trick pony, but... If only there were a way we could charm this monster that's in front of us.
I don't know. I mean, I don't know. There's just... Can you charm more than one of them? It's only one, right?
No.
If we can charm the queen, I don't know that the royal guards attack.
That's a good point. We just have to do that and hope that they don't attack before we can get her to
I mean,
agree with us.
I don't mind trying something else first. I don't mind leaving that as the last resort. I feel like that if that goes wrong, then we're in big trouble. So if we have other ideas like interpretive dance, and I can't believe I'm actually saying that, but that might be a good idea.
What would I know about the structure of beehives?
Make a nature check. It's gonna be tough DC.
I rolled a 6 for the last 10 rolls, so.
So
11.
you are familiar with bees being a ranger, but as far as you were never a beekeeper and honey was never your thing, so you're not really familiar with how wasps, and you're not really sure how close to wasps, bees, and hornets these are. These seem to be kind of like a combination of your knowledge of those kinds of creatures.
So if I were to approach the wall of the hive and very quietly, hi-ya punch, would my hand go through it?
Hi-ya punch.
Is it soft?
The walls with the resin.
Yeah. Is it soft structure because it's combed?
So some are so heavily solidified that it's a pretty tough material, but there are areas that are a little bit weaker, a little bit more recent, that are kind of the sticky resin over that thick papery substance of a hive.
I would like to find one of those areas that's well out of the sight and kind of observation range of the guard bees and see if I can dig an opening through the wall of the hive.
Okay. Why don't you just make a quick I don't know what the hell that would be. Just give me a strength check to punch through it, I guess. Just straight strength.
15.
15. You are able to kind of find a weak point in the hive wall and kind of break through the resin and start tearing at the hive, and it goes in pretty deep. How deep are you trying to burrow through here?
To the other side.
So you continue to burrow and dig, and suddenly your hand hits firm, smooth cave wall, it seems.
Okay, so there's no like gap. There's no like exterior. It just goes straight to cave wall.
It's seen as if it was built along the hive would basically built along whatever natural cave was there, or maybe they burrowed into it. Either way, it's built along there, and there's kind of that sappy substance over it.
Are giant bees a beast?
You aren't sure about. You get the sense that you have the sense that there might be some beasts mixed with monstrosities in here.
What about like for polymorphing purposes?
For polymorphing purposes, you could probably shape into the form of a giant wasp. Yeah.
So Annulin, bear with me for a second. What if Sylvie polymorphed you into a giant wasp hornet thing? And then you try your idea of being friendly to the queen, and then we slip by while you distract them.
I don't know. I don't know how they would treat like a stranger bee in their colony. I don't know if that would be worse than what we are.
You think that being an elf and doing an interpretive dance would be better than a bee?
I don't want her to think I'm like trying to overthrow her.
Ooh, that's fair.
I don't know that much about bees, but I kind of thought that like queen bees and normal bees were like different things, so I don't think you can overthrow her if you're not a queen bee. I don't really know though.
Or we can try to sneak by.
Always
What
down
if
for
we
that.
tried to like smoke them?
Fires in mountains, never good.
I mean, they live in a volcano. I doubt this would be the first time they've come across smoke, right? I don't know.
Do we know? We don't know. Have we seen any kind of sign of like magma or anything in this?
Not here, no.
Well, it worked for the bees with the whole Bear King thing, right? That's a fair point.
Wait,
Yeah, maybe we can just put them to sleep and pass through.
wait a second. Could we call on old Honeypaws? Do we have a way to, with the medallions, can we like call in a favor?
You mean by our powers combined, he is Captain Honeybee?
Yeah.
Honeypaws and like, Captain Planet him into existence?
We don't have a way to actually talk.
Not that you're aware of.
Not with the spells I've currently prepared.
Damn. And the medallions wouldn't be like magical, right?
You didn't get a sense that they were. Vito was really interested in them just because they were made out of honey gold, which is a rare gold from the Feywild.
But not literally
But
honey,
not
so it's not useful in
yeah,
this context.
yeah.
Okay.
Well,
I can try, but I don't know. I feel like I don't know.
it's up to you.
So you want me to like distract her while you guys sneak away?
Or yeah, just like pretend to be a friendly bee and get her attention and say that she looks great and that her crown looks lovely. And then as you distract all of them, we'll go by, you still stay friendly, and then you fly out with us. Once we're through.
Alright.
You're a bee expert, right? Alright, says Sylvie. And she polymorphs Annulin into a
Sylvie
giant...
channels the magic, and you can intentionally fail
Okay.
a saving throw, and Anyan lets herself be polymorphed into a giant wasp, and so she looks to be similar in the style of. Did you want to? You could have it be either one of the drones that like the 12 of those guys, or one of the worker bees. We can say.
I'll be a worker bee.
Okay, so you're a worker wasp or bee or whatever, and so you look plump and unthreatening, large, and you're buzzing around. You feel like it's your body though. You feel natural. You know how to fly. You've been polymorphed once before into a hippo. From Alphonse.
I like the plump one.
From Alphonse. Yeah.
And the hag layer.
And the hag layer. Yeah, you were a bat or a crow or a boat.
a raccoon.
Yeah,
or
a raccoon. So yeah, you've been polymorphed before. You understand. So what are you gonna do?
I'd like to look around. Are there any like food stores or anything sitting within the hive that I would have quick access to?
Where in this chamber? Make a perception check real quick.
A 6.
11.
Hey.
You don't see anything immediate. You get the sense that maybe, like, if there was a case that these particular-looking monstrous bee creatures might bring things to her.
Okay, but nothing I could pick up and like bring with me.
Probably not.
Okay. So I will buzz up to the guard.
So, being transformed into a giant wasp, you see Annulin flap her little buzzy wings and carry her plump new body up towards the queen and her royal guards, and that is where we'll end the session. As it is so late, and we need to end on a cliffhanger. So,
What's gonna happen?
I'll tell you what's gonna happen. What's gonna happen is we're gonna roll for initiative. That's what's gonna happen.
She's gonna get swarmed by sentinel bees and ripped to shreds.
Hopefully Sylvie didn't polymorph you into a bee that is allergic to itself.
Thanks for sticking around, Folly.
yeah,
Appreciate
thanks
having
guys
you
for sticking around. Sorry about the technical difficulties. We're gonna make sure we figure that out, and this is the first time it's happened down here in a while.
Or ever, yeah.
Well, yeah, I mean it's been a while since we've had Skype issues, so
Yeah, and thanks everybody for stopping
thank
by.
you guys.
And
We
stay
had a
tuned.
blast.
If you're not part of the Discord, check it out. And then we may be doing a giveaway for the follower count at some point. So stay tuned. We're gonna have a progress bar probably up on the screen next session. And stay tuned. If you win, you may get a custom dice bag. So could be pretty good.
Custom dice bag.
So spread the word, and you'll have a chance.
Yeah, get your friends to like and follow. Please like and subscribe. Anyway, guys, thank you so much for tuning in. We will see you next week.
We'll see you next
See
week.
y'all.
See you guys.